G'day, you mob. How the devil are we? What's been going on? It's cold. It's sunny for once. Perfect blue skies. But it's quite chilly. I've got the 3/4 length pants on and it's probably erroneous. I should have probably got proper long pants on today. I've got long arms on. But yeah, maybe long pants. My calf muscles are chilly. One sec. That's better. James H., you were first today. Well done. Well done, you. Yes. Pretty close behind. That's probably your closest margin so far, boys. Huawei, love you too. How are you? Welcome. Paddy, Shatty, Paddy. How the devil are you? Pam's living in a refrigerator. That's a bit weird that we've both got cold temperatures at the same time. But, yes, like you say, that's Wyoming, isn't it? Probably the last place to get warmed up a bit. Lucky you get the refrigerator and not just the box. That's so socially aware of you, Huawei. Those poor homeless people that live in just the box with no temperature control. New local Austin, how's it going? Shanna, how are you, Shanna? Long time no sees. Who else we got here hanging about? Oops, big chat jump. Huawei, how is Sarah doing? Sarah's okay. She went to drawing today. So fingers crossed in about probably 30 minutes or so, she'll turn up for a wee while. We'll have a look at some of the stuff she created today. And then she'll probably disappear for a little while and head off home. And fingers crossed we'll get her back on screen when she gets home, perhaps. BJ Palmer, how are you? Probably have some Obi-Wan talk coming up, but there may be some differences of opinion based on some messaging I've received in the last couple of days. Stephen P., g'day. Double M, triple I. How are you, man? A long time also for you. Did I even say hi to you, Pam? I think I just went into saying you're living in a refrigerator, but hello, Pam. How are you, love? Always good to see you. Ian Atkins, how are you, mate? Oh, my eyes just gone all liquidy and stuff, and it's not even from crying. I'm not crying. You're crying. Anyway, cheers, everyone. Hope you're having a good week. What's been going on? Who's got the stuff to talk about? As usual, I've come in unprepared completely. Kind of expected one or two people to be in straight away to get straight into it. But yeah, I'm into it. BJ. It's good stuff. You know, there's a few interesting things about it that people aren't liking, but, you know, what is it? The lowest hanging fruit is always easy to pick on or something. So, yeah, there's some obvious silliness to it, but for the most part, it's bloody Star Wars. You got to suspend your disbelief and accept that not all the storylines can line up perfectly in sync. Yeah, I'm doing pretty good, thanks, Ian. I can't complain at the moment. The rain has stopped for like 2 or 3 days, which has been good, and the last 2 days have been beautiful, clear blue skies. Yesterday morning was a bit hectic, though. Speaking of hectic, mad winds, massive winds up and down the east coast of Australia. It was wild. That's my favourite thing about having long hair, though, is going out in the wind and having it swirling all over the place. It's good fun. It makes me feel like I'm in a movie or something. One day, maybe. I'm not going to school for it, though. I'm just going to use my natural flair and aptitude for being a dick. G'day, Sandy Doty. How are you? Geek boy, it has been a long time since you've caught one of these. How are you, lad? I hope you're okay. And Sandy Doty too. I think it's been quite a few weeks since we've seen your face in here, or the face of your typing, I should say. You know what I meant. Everyone knows what I meant. Trying to think of what's been going on. The IPL cricket finished. I trust after last week's episode, almost all of you went out and watched some cricket under my extreme urging and coaxing to go and watch some T20 cricket. Yeah, they have taken it to America before, and they played on baseball fields, and it was just a little bit wrong the way they did it. Didn't seem to work very well. But on a nice big round piece of ground is where it should be played, or an oval even. Oh, crikey, I've got to do this again. One moment. So glad you didn't hear that. Did I actually? I hope you didn't hear it. I think I pushed mute and then unmuted. What else? Oh, that's right. The IPL finished at the weekend. Pretty poor final game, though. You expect the grand final of the season to be a big, whopping, great game. But I guess when you've got the two best teams of the year playing against one another, their skills are equally matched, which generally means a lower scoring game and a bit tighter, but it didn't end up being very tight at all. Two Dougs, how's it going? Welcome, mate. Always good to have you in. Does anyone use extreme aquatic foods? I've never had much luck with them, but yeah, I was in a fish shop, not so much a LFS, because I don't have really. I've got a pet shop, which is not a big box one, so they do get some decent fish in sometimes, but they only have 15 or 16 small tanks to display their fish in, so you never get a huge range. But the other one I like to go to, I did a tour of the fish, that fish store. Crikey, probably three years ago, maybe even more. It's called Summerland Aquariums. They have a massive big display tank in the middle of one section. It's huge, 8x4x4, I think it is, with lots of big cichlids and plecos and catfish and stuff in it. It's a pretty good store, so I bought some food. The other ones that I've tried in the past was when I was keeping the bigger cichlids, and they didn't seem to like them at all, so I haven't been back to them. But I've been noticing with my shrimp that if I feed them the same thing for a couple, like 2 or 3 feeds in a row, they just they ignore the food. They get over it. So I've got to mix up their diet. So I bought a couple of different ones just to break it up. And I find it difficult to go to that fish store and not buy something because it's so out of the way. It's out in the middle of farmland. It's a nursery as well, so they do have plants and stuff also, which is good. But yeah, you drive down this weird road in the middle of paddocks and whatnot, and it's just in this house in the middle of nowhere, so it's local to nothing really. Well, hi there. How do you do? Huh? Yeah, I thought I'd start it early because I thought I'd have at least one person on screen this early, but No one's turned up backstage yet. Sarah's here, everyone. Slow sinking pellets, micro pellets. They're great for CPDs and easy to crush for larger. Yeah, right. Yeah, I've got these tiny little pellets that I use, but I think they're one of the ones that they get a little bit sick of. G'day, Aubrey. But yeah, it's kind of one of those shops that it just seems to be in such a bizarre place. But I would imagine that they probably started as a nursery and maybe branched out into fish tanks. I'm not quite sure. She just had to disappear into the small room, but she'll be back shortly. Yeah, I've what's the Aqua One? I think is the brand of algae wafers that I use. If that's the ones you mean, algae wafers. But yeah, I think like even my plecos seem to get sick of them and they won't touch them if that's all they get for a while. So I got to break their stuff up too. You got a bunch of people saying hi to you in here. Pam says, hi, Sarah, in brackets, waving like a fool. I assume that's this, is it? Huawei says, hi, Sarah. Someone else did before. Or was it? It might have been Huawei first up. Yes. Yeah, Mark uses lots of interesting stuff. I got to try the what is it, dandelion leaves. And I don't know do we have stinging nettles down here? I don't know if he uses stinging nettles or just some other kind of nettle, but yeah, get into some of that stuff. Unfortunately, I used to have like thousands of dandelions growing in the lawn, but the lawnmower man's too good. He cleaned our lawn up of all of them, and we don't have them anymore. And the grass is too long in the paddock for them to seed, I guess. So how was drawing? You want to come and tell us about it? I was suggesting to the people that you might come along and show us your drawings and stuff, and then you'll probably disappear while the boring chit-chat happens and maybe turn up when you get back at home. Beg your pardon? Right, okay. Oh, I haven't tried mulberry leaves. Shrimp eat them too, do they? I know where there's a couple of mulberry trees around here. Yeah, mine. I certainly see a bunch of my shrimp hanging upside down on the duckweed and clambering through the roots of the duckweed and stuff. I suppose they go wherever the food is, really. Is their modus operandi. With the mulberry leaves, do you just like blanch them in some boiling water and do it, or just put them in green? No. Pardon me. Oh. Pardon me. I knew if I started a sentence that was going to come out mid-sentence. Dried. So dehydrate some mulberry leaves and then just put the bits in there. That sounds interesting. Might have to give that a go and mix up their feeding regimes. Is that as close as you're going to come?
I don't know if it does have that on there. Good. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Just so everyone knows you are really here.
You're just not talking to an imaginary person.
Yeah, because I'm sure that you're speaking very quietly, so I'm sure no one could hear a word you were saying. Frozen water is falling from the sky. Actually, we had report not close to me, but I think it's the first day of winter, and in some of our colder regions down south, they've experienced the first snow for the year. And it must have been a big fall because there's been some road closures over the Great Dividing Range. I think that goes down that far, doesn't it? Lithgow to Bathurst. I'm sure that's still the Great Dividing Range down to there. But yeah, it's been nice not to be wet. And it's nice that the chills have started. Much better than raining and stuff. Do you want to
No, I will have to check if they're good first before you can show them.
Yes, that's good. I can share that. But it'd be nice to be able to hear your voice.
It's very tiny.
It is quite tiny. Lucky I've got beautifully manicured fingernails. G'day, Rico. How are you, mate? Hiya, Tank Ticklers and Scungey. Putting a bit of pressure on your pen there in some bits.
Mm-hmm.
This line here looks like it's almost carved into the paper. Maybe that was your first line and your pen wasn't inking well. So how was your model today?
She was good. Another drawer.
Another drawer up. Did she have the shapes you desired?
Yeah, she's very beautiful.
G'day, Priscilla. How's it going? Liquid Zoo, how are you?
Just sort of roly-poly models.
She won.
I said, I just want roly-poly models. And it's just very...
Not roly-poly.
Another, oh,
That's funny, actually,
slender
because
and beautiful.
I can't remember what I was thinking of, but I was thinking of white ink on black, reversing stuff, and you've done one or two by the look of it today.
Well, because I got that black.
Actually, I want to show that some more because that's quite nice, isn't it? I like the spiderweb belly. Nifty, very nifty. Huawei says he likes that one. Well, bloody buy it, mate. After we do this showing, we'll announce some exciting news for Sarah's goings on. Are you going to do more work on that one? That looks like an incomplete.
I sort of thought that, but then I just like it just told me it was finished. I don't want to
Right,
that one might not.
it's almost a little bit Star Warsy, a bit Twi'leki.
Oh, yeah. So that might have come out a little bit today because it's always getting.
Getting I like that one. Love it. Hopefully Sarah felt good and was able to enter that art show. Do you want to talk about your travels to Brisbane while I keep showing pictures? Can point the microphone a little bit more at you to assist in your low volume voice.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if that one's done.
Crikey,
right,
look
or
at the
anything.
shakes on this guy. Got the
And,
DTs. Didn't even drink that much last night.
Yeah, I did enter the art show. I did frame a big picture.
Can you hear Sarah speaking? Because I can barely hear her, so I don't know if the microphone's picking her up. A bit of feedback on the audio level, please.
It's just in break. It's a repeating thing. So. I don't know if that one should go on.
That generally means it should, if you don't know. I like the face or the head, the top bits. I don't know if it's a face or a head or what, but it's pretty gnarly. Yeah, Pam says use your outside voice because we are outside after all.
Yeah.
I suppose you've been in that quiet internal mode for a few hours.
I have, and I also spent some weeks locked up in my house, all
All COVID-y and stuff.
Yeah.
Brisbane sounds like something a Moyle would be afraid of. Brisbane, because a Moyle performs the bris, and the bane means something that hinders you or plagues you. Well done, Rico. Well done. I'll give you credit for that one. That's good. Good comedy. Good solid comedy. This one looks like a lady from the 50s who's got a little bit possessed. Oops, concentrate on where I'm holding it. Yeah, I'm kind of really digging the stuff on black. Works well. I wonder if you could do negatives
Well, I have already. It's like
of
that
these
one.
or your black on whites and
I've
then flip them.
I've done negatives of the black and white.
And does it look like this?
You know, kind of. It's like that one that I sent you.
Pardon me. Thanks, S. Good work.
Not saying it's just the scribble sheet.
I'll just do a quick swipe across the scribble sheet. Not that quick though. That's just annoying. Very cool. And so the model today couldn't decide whether she wore her horns up or down.
Yeah, she had her hair down for a while and then she had it up for a while.
I was actually being silly, but that was actually taken from the thing. Let's talk website. How are you going with creating your website?
I'm getting there. And I've decided, you know, which place I'm going with, and I'm doing it. They also have they just sent me a sale email, that company.
A sale email? What's that mean?
Like that they have a sale.
Oh, right. They've got a special.
50%.
And what company is it?
Wix.
I think that's an Australian-based one, isn't it?
I don't think so.
Is Wix overseas? People, find us a because you can probably use a discount code on top of a sale, you can get a discount code. You might get 10% off your first order and then pay for a whole year. So you get 10% off a year instead of a month.
Well, you have to pay for the year.
Full stop.
And yeah, and the discount is on the year or 2 years.
Better get two then.
So
G'day, Chewy.
it was pretty good because it means that, say, a year is only like $260 instead of $530. I think it's $264 or $538, something like that.
And hello, Paint Crazy Ola. An ugly man. How are you, ugly? Paint Crazy Ola. Abel. What do you got there? Yeah, right.
I thought it was just some cactus when I was watching a video last night and saw that really cool. Kind of cool flower comes off the top and stuff.
Careful where you plant it. It's got lots of roots on it. Ugly man says, hi to Scunge Princess. So how long before you reckon you'll get your website up and running?
I'd like to think within the next couple of weeks. I'd like it to be as soon as possible, but
Fine tuning and all that.
yeah, well, mostly like writing. I have to do lots of writing, and that's, you know.
Yeah, Ugly Man Scungey's creating a new website for her stuff and whatnot. But does that mean that your other big cartel stuff,
I'm gonna cut it.
once the other one starts?
Yeah, well, the thing is, I've got whatever left of whatever the month is. I won't renew the big cartel one because it's been a long time. I haven't done anything with it. It's just been sitting there.
So that people can still purchase stuff from your big cartel links for the time being, or is your month end like rule soon?
I don't even know. I'll have to have a look. And they can, but there's not a lot of stuff on there. It's mostly just some there's some sort of older ones on there. But
So yeah, that's part of the news, I guess, is that Scungey will have a new website.
Yay.
Anon, and Ugly Man's wife and himself have just started launching our websites for our new businesses. Yeah, it's kind of necessary nowadays to have one. It's much cheaper than a storefront or an agency or a bureau.
Oh, I think you do have to have one, but I also have to get out there. One of the things, like I was saying to you before, is that I think that only having my work online, it loses something. There's something really nice about seeing it in person.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I've got to be getting it more out there for people to see in person.
G'day, Alex. How's it going? But yeah, as an addendum to news, we bought this fancy printer, which is going to enable Scungey to do more prints and stuff, I guess, of original artwork. And I don't know, did you entertain my suggestion of doing like very limited runs of like your biggest, most famous pieces and stuff like that, like runs of 10 or 20 small?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be. I'm sort of currently trying to work up some lists of what will go on prints and what will be like, yeah. Definitely some that will go limited, and then some that I just won't put any limitations on.
That's very convenient that you're both your businesses tie into one another. Ugly Man, his wife has launched her artist website, and he started a picture framing business.
I wish I had picture framing skills, because picture framing is expensive.
which is quite expensive. Did I say hi to Alex? Hello, Alex.
It's one of the things that it's one of the biggest sort of things holding me back from exhibiting is the sheer cost of trying to frame everything is just like out of reality. Like I can't feasibly see that I'll be able to frame enough stuff to do.
Like a proper gallery showing.
Yeah.
It's a bit of an investment, but like you say, they certainly do look a hell of a lot better when they're properly framed up and whatnot.
It's very nice to see them framed. I was very excited to pick up my piece the other day that I got done.
Yeah, well, that was one that it certainly looked fantastic in the pictures, so I can only imagine that it looks much better in the flesh.
It looked really good. I feel like I couldn't take a good picture of it. I'll try when I go and look at it in the gallery. I'll try and get a picture of it up on the gallery wall and stuff.
Try doing video as well,
Yeah.
so you get subtle movements and whatnot that might enhance a still image. Absolutely punchy. I think that's exactly Sarah's thinking as well, that if you're going to do a professional piece of art, it should be framed by a professional.
Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't do it justice otherwise.
Yeah. It's like plate making. No one appreciates the work and time for custom ceramic plates for food. Well, some people do, but yeah, those without the appreciation probably aren't after fancy pieces of art and whatnot. Oh, look out.
I appreciate custom ceramic plates and cups and other vessels.
Did you find it? Up in the cupboard. Let's bring this unit in.
Uh-oh. What's going on?
How come you've got sunlight?
It's sunny out.
Really?
Currently, yes.
Wow. What time of evening is it? You're fucking with me, aren't you?
10 after
just
8.
Yeah, and it's still that sunny. No, you've got a bright light. You must have. It just really looks like sunlight.
That's the sun back there.
All right. I didn't know
Being
you were
on
that
the
far
wall.
north.
What's that?
I didn't know you were that far north to have such late sun. I suppose daylight savings contributes, doesn't
Well, like, I'm trying to remember, when's the longest day? What is that, June 21st, right?
it? Somewhere around there. G'day, Scotty.
Yeah, June 21st is the longest day. And then I think, like, the longest day here, I think it gets dark at, like, on June 21st, I think it gets dark at, like, 10:40 or something like that.
Yeah, right. It gets a bit
Well,
like
that's
that.
a bit gross.
It gets like that in Melbourne in the summertime.
Right.
It can be 10 o'clock at night and still daylight outside, and you've got all these confused kiddies wondering why they're being sent to bed.
That is true. That is very true. Yeah, we have to contend with that every summer.
Lol, Pam says the longest day is when I'm out of coffee.
Yeah. Yeah, it's we have to contend with that now because it's like until the end of summer, it's like Olivia will go to bed at 8:30, but it's still light outside. Like the sun is out. It's like it's not bedtime. It's still light out. And you're like, well, you can't use that excuse that it's dark out. Crap. Yeah, so you can't get lured into the like it's dark outside now. It's time now. You have to go to bed. You know, because during the summer, that ain't a good one.
It's best not to contribute to that sentiment early in their life. so that they develop
Right.
that. They can come back at you with "You're just being stupid. You're a fool."
Right. You're a fool. Yeah, just it boils down to like what the clock's doing.
Yeah,
But
that's-
they're off
teach
in the
them.
other room yelling at each other right now. So
You got to teach them to tell time before you say it's dark out. You have to go to bed.
yeah,
It's gotta be.
Livy's having a hard day today. She's feeling sick. She's been having a fever off and on, and so see what happens. But they're over there yelling at each other, getting in trouble. Mom and daughter both getting in trouble.
Both getting in trouble with one another.
Pretty much.
That's a delicate balance. That's what it takes.
Yeah. It's a delicate balance. The two ladies,
The warring factions.
Yeah. S says I'm on Tatooine. I mean, Blacky's more on Tatooine than I am. It's green here. I'm on Andor. Andor's gonna get blown up. Alderaan. I'm on Alderaan. Alderaan's gonna get blown up.
Oh,
Somebody pointed that out to me. Spoiler
Right,
alert!
yeah.
If you haven't seen,
G'day, JRB.
if you haven't seen Star Wars, spoiler alert! That planet's gonna blow up.
Man, I had a mental block the other night, and for about 20 minutes couldn't remember the name Alderaan.
Alderaan, yeah. It's like,
and then
hey, that's
as
the
soon as-
planet that blows up.
As soon as I stopped trying to remember what it was called, then it came to me, of course.
Two Doug's Gma says, try Alaska summers. I have. We've literally gone up there many times in the summer. We go up all the time. I think we're going up. I don't know when we're going up. We're going up there sometime. We got to go help with the pig farm.
The pig farm.
Yeah, we got to.
Where's that? Up on Alaska. That's right. I remember.
Alaska. On the Kenai Peninsula, if people are really wondering. You could go
Keen
out to
eye, as in you've got keen eyesight, or
Kenai.
Kenai.
It's not English, so yeah. On the Kenai Peninsula, if you want to know the town, it's called Ninilchik. So if you're out in Ninilchik, you might run into us at some point. But beware, there's only like 300 people live up there, so it's not a very big town.
Yes, I've heard that Alaska has quite a low population density.
It's huge. It's like as big as Australia.
Apparently,
How big is-
it's somehow Alaska is the easternmost and the westernmost state of the USA. How does that work?
Yeah, that's how big it is, bro.
I would imagine that Hawaii would have to come in there somewhere because it's so far to the other direction.
Yeah, actually, I was just kidding that Alaska was the same size as Australia, but it's 20% the size of Australia by itself.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
20%. It's 1/5 of the size, but it's got way more mountains than you do, bro.
Yeah, no doubt.
And it's only 2 miles from Russia.
Yeah, it's quite surprising, isn't it, how close they are in reality.
There's nobody out there. There's nothing going on. There's nothing going on out there. It's like somebody drew an imaginary line on the globe, and then that's the thing now.
There is Alaska to Russia stuff in the new series of Stranger Things.
Oh, I haven't seen that yet, so don't ruin it for me.
I just did. Now you know everything about it. It's all about
That's
Alaska
true.
and Russia. Shit.
Ruined.
I might as well just fill you in on the rest then now.
Yeah, you might as well just let me know what happens.
There's a
Yeah,
thing and
you know what? We were gonna
thing.
start watching that the other day, and then Vicky was just too tired, so she went to bed. So I watched Star Wars, a Kenobi story.
Kenobi story. Yeah, well, I started watching Stranger Things the other day, and it had been so long since I'd finished season 3 that I had to go back and watch the last 2 episodes.
I
And
know
did
we
that.
basically got through the recap, and I was like, yeah, I kind of forgot all this stuff happened.
Yeah.
Shit. Well, I guess we'll figure it out. And then she was like, I'm just too tired. I gotta go to bed. I was like, all right.
Well, that's what happened to me. By the time I finished my 2
Oh.
episode recap,
Oh.
I was like, "Fuck, I
Hey,
gotta go."
if you want to know something really cool about this cool guy right here, Grandma and Grandpa were here yesterday when they said, "Hey, we'll watch the sick daughter if you guys want to go do something." And so we went and saw Maverick, a Top Gun story,
Oh,
baby. Yeah.
I'm hearing good things about it.
I will say this: it's incredibly fun movie. Definitely go watch it. You probably will never watch it again, though. That's going into it. Just go like, I'm gonna watch this. You're gonna see all of the surprises and everything are gonna be spoiled the first time you watch it. So just know, go into it being excited and watch it that one time. That would be my advice. Is that like this is gonna be fun, but watching it again, it won't be that fun.
I think I only watched the first one time.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know if I believe you.
I don't. When it came out, or when it was released on video, I think I saw it once, and I don't think I ever went back for more of it. I wasn't really like military. Oh, thanks, Molly. Oh.
You're right, Mr. Mick.
What do we got? Oh, that's right. I know what it is. They sent me a message this morning. How's your day, mate?
Not too bad, but I'm buggered.
Buggered already. It's not even lunchtime.
No?
You just don't stop, do you?
Yeah. I told Amber if I die on the job, she better sue us.
But yeah, I heard that they rely very heavily on Tom Cruise's charisma to make it a decent film.
Well, I mean, he's the main character.
All right, take care, mate.
So yeah. I mean, it relies on nostalgia. That's what it's leaning on. It leans on those nostalgic callbacks, like big time. Which
Yeah, right.
That's why I'm saying, like, the second time you see it, you will have already known all of the things that happen. So you're like, it's not going to be a shocker. But the upside is that, like, because they had already filmed this one so long ago, and the release has gone so well that there's speculation that there'll be a Top Gun 3 with my favorite actor, Miles Teller, who's the guy who plays Rooster in Top Gun.
I'm unfamiliar with this guy.
He plays
What would I know?
Rooster in Top Gun 2.
But what would I know him from?
He was in Whiplash. What else was he in? He's in a bunch of stuff. He's just one of my favorite actors, and I can't remember his IMDb. Here we go. Woo. So I think the first time he played Willard in Footloose. Was it Project X? I think it was Project X was, I think, the first time I saw him. Yeah, Project X, which now IMDb is, like, forcing me to watch the trailer. Let's not do that. Yeah, Whiplash, 21 and Over. What was this?
Ah, yeah, righto. Whiplash, that's that drumming one.
Yeah, he's the drummer guy in that. 9 Kisses. What was that? Yeah, he was in that with Vanderdick Bumberbatch.
Bamberdy.
He was in Divergent. He's been in a bunch of stuff, just not a whole lot of, like, crazy starring roles. But But I don't know. I just really like every time I've seen him act in something, I'm always like, God, that guy's good. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. G'day, Denny. How are you,
Plus, he
mate?
doesn't have that typical. He doesn't have a typical appearance either. You know.
He's not that Hollywood heartthrob look.
Yeah. Which I
He's just
like that about
every
people.
man.
I like it when people are interesting looking. You know. I like that.
Yes, it's good to dance
I mean,
outside.
I don't have to like that, or it's not a requirement for me to like people, but
Hey,
it's just
Alyssa.
something I enjoy. You know.
I'm good, Denny. Good, mate. Good.
Where's the princess? Did she leave us?
No, she's just there.
I heard her talking in the background. Is she doing arts today? What's going on?
She did, yes. We showed a bunch of her stuff before you turned up. You'll have to watch the replay.
Christ, your fridge is just full of liquor bottles.
Well, a full fridge is more efficient than an empty fridge. It's scientific reasons for not putting them in the bin, you know.
True.
Even though it's not that full. But yeah, it's got some and some beers. I haven't touched beers for ages.
Huh?
Beer is very temperature related for me.
Wow.
When it's really hot, I love a beer, but as soon as it starts cooling down, the first beer will just make me feel crook in the guts.
Oh.
Does that mean you're hitting the road? I have to carry, or I might get us both to carry it so none of us gets injured carrying it. I'm going to carry a thing out to Sarah's car
Oh.
and say goodbye, and we'll be back, and then hopefully
He's got to
Sarah will
carry
jump-
heavy stuff around.
Hopefully Sarah will jump back on when she gets home,
We saw Top Gun 2, super cheesy, very predictable, but amazing action if you like aviation. I'm going to be honest with you. It was predictably cheesy, but the things that happened in the movie, had you tried to write them down ahead of time, I don't think anybody would have come up with that. There's twists in the movie that you wouldn't have thought would happen. The one thing that pissed me off is that there was no Meg Ryan in it, and I got to admit, when I was a little guy, I was a little tiny guy when Top Gun was around. I still to this day, I recall Meg Ryan being in that movie, because Kelly McGillis always was a scary and gross as far as I was concerned as a little guy. But young Meg Ryan she was like burned into my brain, you know? Is it the right thing to have done? I don't know, but it happened. But I like I said, I enjoyed the Top Gun Maverick. It was fun. We had a good time. Vicky liked it too. I think as a whole, Vicky liked it more than I did, because the issue I have is that it doesn't have that rewatchability in my mind. I don't know if it's a movie that I'm going to revisit and watch again. I guess unless I do like a review on it, but I don't know that I would do a review on that movie, because I probably already missed the window of opportunity regardless, you know. Yeah, but it was pretty good. It was definitely worth going to see. So I would say that. BJ, I will rewatch the original Top Gun this afternoon. It's been 30 years since the last viewing. That's way too long in between watching Top Gun. 30 years. That's way too long. Yeah. BJ says no huggy kissy. Good thing I love aviation. I would say that the lion's share, now not all of so if you know anything about the original Top Gun and you watch any of the dogfighting, like 99% of the stuff that is in that movie you would never do in a dogfight. like Like they constantly cut away to these shots where people barrel roll and stuff, and you would never do a barrel roll in a dogfight because you've done absolutely nothing to change your trajectory of somebody following you who is going to shoot either bullets or missiles at you. So there was like, why put a barrel roll in there? Why would you do this? Why would you be doing that? You wouldn't be doing that. You all right, babe? Okay, I got the nighttime kind. Well, okay. Yeah. Vicky sent me to Costco and I was buying stuff and I got the wrong stuff. That's basically what that boiled down to. It's a good watch if you're in the Navy aviation field with a crew or maintenance. So my dad was actually one of those guys. He was on the flight deck. He was a flight mechanic, and he worked on mainly the A6s and then the plane after that, whichever one was after the A6. So growing up, we would go out to the flight deck on the Navy yards and stuff like that. When I was a kid, I read all of the like. I think there was one point in time where I had a really good grasp on the all of the technical specs of the A6 when I was a little kid because I would look through those all the time, constantly. Yeah. I'm trying to figure out what plane came after the A6. What plane after the A6 in the Navy? What came after the A6? A6. What replaced the A6? It is configured both a harpoon, the A6E Intruder being replaced by the F-18 Hornet. Okay, it was the F-18. I didn't want to get that wrong. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that the A6 was replaced by the F-18 Hornet. Yeah, it was supposed to be replaced by the A12, but that program was canceled. Okay, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I remember this goofy plane, and it just got canceled. But yeah, the F-18. So my dad worked on the A6s and the F-18s whenever those came out. I forget when that was. Let's see. What years were those? Let's see. What year was that? I don't know the years from looking it up, but my dad was in the Vietnam War, and then he was hanging around for a while after that. So where'd my chat go? I lost my chat. There it is. Yeah. Huawei's here. We got to watch out for Huawei. You're supposed to be in before the lights go out, before the street lights go out, or you're going to get grounded. How old is Huawei? Are you just joking, or are you actually like 15?
Pretty sure I was looking at that when I was a kid.
The map of the globe throws perception off. Countries closer to the middle are more compressed. Well, yeah, I don't know. Oh, The Boys drops on the 3rd of June. Oh my God, that's so soon. Because I saw the when we went to Top Gun 2 Electric Boogaloo yesterday. There was a trailer for The Boys, but there was no date.
That's true.
Boys season 3 release date. Well, that's exciting. I'm so glad that they're continuing with that. I've enjoyed The first 2 seasons, legitimately, it's just it's just a really solid show. I mean, it's gruesome. If you're not into gruesome stuff, like, there's no way I could recommend that show to my mom. You know what I mean? Like, I couldn't recommend that show to my mom. But if you're into intense stuff like that and can handle it and follow the story without getting grossed out, then it's all good.
That's some fun of that.
So, okay, yeah, I guess.
Or maybe they're cold and free.
Is it actually June 3rd? Okay, June 3rd. All right, verified. The Boys, Season 3, June 3rd, verified. Oh, Huawei's 36. Okay, good. I mean, you could be 36 and still get grounded, I guess. It just depends on who's doing the grounding, I think, is generally the issue. Billy Butcher is great. I don't know that I would say that, like, anybody from The Boys is actually great. I feel like every character is so, like, dramatically flawed that they're all interesting because of that. I don't know if there's a hero in that show, because Billy Butcher is clearly not a hero. He's an anti-hero. He's a, I don't know. Yeah, anti-hero, I think. And then what's his name? Danny. Boys. Who are all the characters? There's obviously Homelander and Billy Butcher. Huey, not Danny. Huey.
All my ones have some good people.
List of characters. Let's go through the list of characters here.
Boys, I'm going around.
Billy Butcher, anti-hero. Huey Campbell, bumbling idiot. Mother's Milk. I don't know who Mother's Milk is.
Online shortly.
Oh, Mother's Milk. Yeah, okay. He's clearly, like, got an issue. The Frenchman, obviously an issue.
He's possibly the best character in the show, though.
What's that?
Frenchie's probably the best character in the show, I reckon. His choice.
I'm just trying to think if there actually is a hero in the show.
It's a show about anti-heroes. Everyone's an anti-hero in it. Starlight could be the hero if she wasn't such a whiny little girl.
Well, that's all she knows. I mean, she knows being brainwashed by, religious zealotry and nonsense. I'm just trying to think if there actually is a hero in there, because, like, even Starlight's done a ton of underhanded, crazy nonsense and killed a bunch of people. So
I think that's the whole underlying theme is anti-heroes, that not all heroes are, perfectly perfect. They're all flawed individuals in their own way, and that's kind of one of the things that made that show so fantastic, was that it was saying, these superheroes can be gritty, vile characters as well.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't think that you're wrong with your assessment there, but, like, I think that the whole reason of the show is to sort of expose the idea of, like, American exceptionalism /
corporate control.
Yeah, corporate control of everything, and like, there's a lot of narratives there. But I was trying to think of, like, who in the show actually could be considered a hero. But I think I'd have to, like, go back and rewatch it. There is somebody in there that's like true and legit. And it's not Starlight. It's not Huey. It's not anybody on the team. It's obviously not the Deep. That guy sucks. It's obviously not Homelander. I think it was the lady. I think it was, like, the lady.
Queen Maeve.
Yeah, Queen Maeve, I think, was probably like the only sort of heroic person that was just sort of forced into the role of trying to help people. You know, I think that's probably the only hero really in the show, right?
Yeah,
'Cause-
maybe Homelander's son.
No, he's clearly a villain. Like he's already a villain.
Homelander's son.
Yeah, he jumped right into it.
What do you mean? Like
As
killing
soon
his
as he
own
like
mum?
figured out he had powers, like he didn't want to have powers, but then as soon as he had them, he started lasering stuff. He's into it.
I don't think he was into it because he
He's
did it
born
out
evil.
of a complete act of rage and killed his mum at the same time. So he's probably never going to want to use his powers again.
He's born evil. That's all I'm saying.
Hmm.
He's the Antichrist character.
Oh, g'day, Cody. How are you? Did I miss anyone else coming in, by the way? Doesn't look like Vitra. Hello, I missed Vitra.
Yeah, she helped Homelander cover up his shenanigans. Yes, but she was like forced into it.
Yeah, that was completely under duress.
Yeah, so it's like it's hard to say that like somebody was, being evil when they're like forced into servitude or whatever, right?
Yeah.
I'm surprised nobody even picked up on my name today.
Well, I read it a couple of times, but I didn't. I don't know who that is. Who is it?
Oh, you don't know?
No, I do not know.
Oh, it's nerd shit. Somebody will know. Now that I brought it up, somebody will be like, "I'm smart." Oh, Huawei. No, well, I think Huawei already knew or looked it up already. What is this? Oh,
It's
weird
an
emails coming in hot. We don't
X-Men
need any of
reference.
this. We don't need, dude. We don't need any of these emails. I'm gonna delete them all.
I'm gonna try get this weary traveler on screen. Maybe.
Z-Beam. Oh my god,
Yeah,
how far
he's-
out is he?
He's on the road though, so I think by the look of him frozen on my screen, I think he's not getting. Oh, look out! We got a visual.
Oh, he's the road doggy.
Road dog in it. Yeah, I don't think we're going to get him on that level of internet. I'll keep my eyes out and we'll try and get Z-Beam up if he gets into some better internet somewhere. All right, BJ. Oh, she's probably gone by now. That was minutes ago.
What's that?
Oh, BJ was saying she's got to go. We'll see you soon, maybe, BJ. Let's try this again. How's that?
Hey,
Oh, there
That's
he is.
better.
how you doing?
Good, man.
Good. What's going on?
Just drove past Gundagai.
Gunda guy, did you drive past the dog on the tucker box? Isn't that
We
where that is?
We stopped for food there.
Yeah. Of course, they turned it into a big servo or something, did they?
Sure did. Yep. Got some chicken wings.
Out on the road to Gunda guy.
Yep.
Famous Australian song.
Famous.
A famous Australian landmark is the dog on the tucker box.
Are you running over any frogs on the freeway?
No frogs on the freeway.
Oh,
Few dead wallabies we've seen.
Hmm.
It's a bit of a shame.
that is a bummer.
Yeah.
If you see like an old one that's already mostly decomposed, take its head off and bring us the skull, would you?
Well, I got no room, but yeah, I'll keep you in mind. Like a good skull myself. We're heading to Goulburn.
Oh, a bit of snow there this morning. You're going to be cold.
Snow, yeah, I'm prepared. I love it.
Well, they've been putting warnings on the radio today saying if you're heading east, don't go past Goulburn. If you're heading west, don't go past Lithgow because there's snow blocking the roads over the range or
Okay,
something.
Uh-oh.
Lithgow's got snow.
Not surprised.
Yeah, not surprised. Yeah, says that one. Mm.
Big snowfalls down in Victorian Alps and
Yeah,
Thredbo Parachute, which is fine.
How timely too on the first day of winter.
just perfect. Let's
that
hope
today?
the cold. Yeah. Well, we're in the future by a day. So
I think our
Think
we've
our,
already we've already passed summer here. No, not yet. No, summer's
in
in
about
starts in 3
12
weeks.
hours.
Sorry.
Well,
Summer,
officially, not
Yeah,
by the
so-
calendar.
sorry, summer starts in 3 weeks for us. I keep thinking it's June. It's not June. But I posted hold on. I posted this earlier. Okay. So the Northwest News Seattle National Weather Service blah blah blah. So check this out. You guys know how warm 70 Fahrenheit is? How much is that in Celsius?
Let's say 32-ish, 33-ish.
No. 70 Fahrenheit to Celsius. This is ridiculous.
35.
21.
Hmm.
21. 21.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. So
75.
you know how warm that is. That's not that warm.
no.
Not that warm. So, since January 1st, Seattle's number of hours at or above 70 Fahrenheit through May 29th this year, how many hours do you think it's been over 70 degrees?
3 days.
How
One
many
hour.
hours
Oh, hours.
since
Dunno.
January 1st till now? How many hours has it been over 70 degrees?
We're doing Price is Right rules or over-unders or what? I'm
Did you
going
go
one.
over or under? Just a guess. So in
say
2016, there was 144 hours of over 70 degrees.
I'm still going with one.
It's literally 5 hours.
Hey, I said 6.
5
close.
hours this whole year has been over 70 degrees so far. Last year we had the all-time high. Hold on, let me figure out how much that is. 122 Celsius. So last year we had the all-time high of 48.9 Celsius degrees.
It's a warm day. That was the hottest day ever recorded.
In the state here, yeah. It replaced the old record. Which I think was only 1 degree colder, but still. Does it ever get 48, 49 down there?
Not where we are.
Not where you guys are at, yeah. So it did that last year, and then now this year it's only gotten past 70 degrees for 5 hours. Although today it was like 75 out, so it was actually cool. It was like, whoa, roll all the windows down. Oh my God, what's going on? What are we doing? Oh man, it's just raining and you just headed towards the snow.
Yep.
How's the trip
Blur.
going?
Oh, pretty good. I got to go to a castle the other day down in Bendigo.
Ballarat.
Ballarat, sorry.
A castle?
Yeah, called Cryle Castle.
Was that?
It was really cool.
Was it built in like 2005 or something?
It was refurbished in 2007.
From when?
When was it first built? Em?
Oh, years ago. I
Years
went as a
ago.
kid.
Emma went there as a kid, and she's 50. So it's an old tourist landmark. It used to be just like for shock and horror with the torture chambers and wax dolls and people all in costume and jousting and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Now it's more evolved, and they have fantasy nights where people, they're a bit more inclusive, and people dress up like wizards and shit and cosplay and hang around, and they've got a chapel there so people can get married, do medieval weddings. It's really well built too. Like the refurbishment's amazing. It's up high too, so if sea level rise ever happens, it'll be like a post-apocalyptic bastion.
Yeah.
But I
So
should have
it's
got
like a
some
little
photos.
bit. It's like your own little taste of Las Vegas, basically.
Yeah, it's a little bit more legit than Vegas, I reckon.
Have you been to Vegas?
No, but the
All
stone
right.
construction is solid as fuck. Like it is.
Yeah,
it
they
is
have a
proper
fucking. They have
castle.
an Eiffel Tower. Like
Yeah,
in
fuck
Vegas.
that. So does China.
Massive.
Yeah.
I mean,
They-
I'm saying that Vegas sucks, but it
Yeah,
doesn't
Vegas
suck.
sucks. Yeah.
It doesn't suck that bad. I mean,
Right, yeah.
I hate it because I'm like, I don't drink, I don't smoke.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I'd go play some cards or something, but
Yeah.
I don't need to go to Vegas to do that. Like, there's sanctioned gambling in my state, so like, why do I gotta fly somewhere that sucks? And it's like 1,000 degrees outside.
Yeah,
Like
fuck
last time I
that.
was in Vegas, it was literally like the sun was going down, and it like dropped right behind a building, right? But like everything's made out of fucking concrete and asphalt in that town. So I was outside, and it's just like everything was just radiating heat
Yeah.
because it's
Yeah.
not like none of this stuff is designed to even just like sit in the sun like it is, And so it's just like, oh god, like what the fuck? And you could cook an egg on the sidewalk super easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's like, and then you go inside and it's like air conditioned blast of, like it's like the air conditioning's running full tilt, and the smoke eaters are running, and they're repiping artificial money smell into the air. Just so you start tripping a little bit and like, I'm gonna win.
I can smell it.
The smell of cash.
Wild. Yeah. Cash money.
Yeah.
G'day, Fishymon. S is asking if the castle has a moat.
No, it does not have a moat. It's up on a hill though, and we got there's the main entrance, but we got access through the back door, which was sneaky. So I got to get in for free and have a walk around. The back door's pretty cool.
Yeah.
When did you say it was originally built?
I think in the either 60s or 70s.
So it was built primarily as a novelty or as a business building to use for fun and games. It wasn't.
It was, yeah. But now it's an education thing. Like they did the jousting because some schools turned up for an excursion, and one of them paid for them to do jousting, and it was pretty rad. There was a female knight and a male knight, and they blasted their intro music like boxers. Like one played the Prodigy, Firestarter, and so it's kind of they've upped their game. It's really cool. It was really awesome. The horses loved it. Like they were just like I thought they were nervous and shit at first. They're just so excited to be running at each other full pelt.
They're ramped
And
up.
then I thought they were winning, but I looked at the crowd in the stand, and there are a lot of women of Middle Eastern descent with their not the hijab or burqa, not burqa.
Yashmak? No, that's a different one, isn't it?
Hijab, like head coverings and stuff, and they were doing that. La, 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 la.
Getting into it. That's good.
Oh, I'm getting booted by the internet. Bye.
I'm surprised you're that solid for that long driving along the freeway.
I'll try
in
and
the
stay
bush.
on, but I think I'm G neglect. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Well, that's good. At least you're having a productive
All
trip
right, I better
and
go.
having some fun along the way.
He's got to go.
He be gone.
He's using up all his data.
GRB asks if smoking is banned. See you, man. Thanks for popping in. Good luck for the rest of your trip. Is smoking banned in Vegas casinos yet?
What?
Smoking. Is it banned in the casinos in Vegas yet?
No. Why would it be? Smoking is not banned in casinos. No. I forget which states. How many? Only 29 states have enacted statewide bans
On indoor smoking.
So it's indoor smoking in all enclosed workspaces, including bars and restaurants. But like in Washington State here, if you go to the casino, you can smoke in the casino if you want. You can. There's smoking in there. Smoking's legal in the casino in Washington. Let's see. Idaho banned in restaurants, banned in restaurants and bars, banned in non-hospitality workplaces, banned in restaurants and non-hospitality workplaces, banned in all workplaces. No ban. So if you want a no ban, you got to go to Texas, Oklahoma, Wyoming, Missouri, Kentucky, Tennessee, what is that? South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, and Louisiana. So you got to go to all the shit states, the trash garbage states. If you want no smoking ban, you got to go to all the garbage states, basically. Even Florida has some smoking ban.
I got to go do a quick thing. I'll be back.
Yeah, you got to do whatever you got to do, man. But yeah, up here, you know, if you're in the casino, you can smoke in the casino. They don't care. Dragon Lair, stop by. What's up, man? What's going on? There's really like no bans of except for drugs in Nevada. That's the only like real ban down there. I think they still have like Captain Insano felony drug convictions for like just anything that's normally a minor offense in most states. But you can smoke cigarettes down there, and they have all sorts of stuff in different counties that you can go dip your toes in, as it were. Cody says, is the casino on a native reservation? We have lots of reservations in Washington, so a lot of them are. So you have like Angel of the Winds, the Muckleshoot. What's that other one? The Tulalip. What's the one? I don't know. There's lots of them. We have lots of reservations in Washington State, so yeah, there's lots of casinos with that. Oh, Huawei says they legalized recreational marijuana in Nevada. That's cool. Did they let all the people out of jail? That would be my question. Did they let everybody out of jail? Because I think they were doing some of that here. In Washington State, it's no longer considered criminal behaviors to. Here we go. Let's look this up. New laws allow individuals to vacate multiple marijuana offense convictions. Yeah, you can do that now. If you have convictions, you can get those overturned and at least off your record. I can't remember if they were. Yeah, records indicate that roughly 3,500 individuals are eligible under this initiative, which this was in. Let me see. 2018. So there's about 3,500 people that were going to get released because of their marijuana convictions would be pardoned by the governor's office. So, yeah, the conviction must have occurred between 98 and 2012. Prosecuted under Washington State RCW, not a local ordinance. Yeah, so state convicts and stuff. I think 3,500 people is at least a little bit of justice for those marijuana convictions. I'm pretty sure they kept rolling with it to some degree because I think Washington was the first or second state to legalize marijuana. I forget if we were first or second because I think we were first to the medical marijuana thing, and then I think maybe Oregon was first to the overall legalized. But yeah, you like to see it because I just you guys know that I'm sober. I've been sober for a long time, 8 years now. I'm not a huge fan of people like using drugs or getting drunk or any stuff like that around me. Doesn't bother me if you don't have a problem. I'm like, yeah, it's all good. Do what you got to do. That's fine. There are definitely drugs out there that I'm way more concerned about than marijuana, though. And I always just thought it was an injustice that people would be, sent to jail for like smoking a joint or whatever. It's nuts. You like lock someone up in a cage for that. I don't know. It's bizarre to me. I tried to ban smoking in your car or yard in my town, but it didn't pass. The smoking in the car thing, that's been banned here, but it's what's considered a secondary offense.
Smoking in your car.
Yeah, because it's part of the distracted driving.
Yeah, right. That's fair enough.
But it's considered a secondary offense. They wouldn't pull you over just for smoking in your car. If they pull you over for like talking on your cell phone and you're smoking, they'll write you a ticket for both. But they won't pull you over just because you're smoking cigarettes in the car. They won't do that.
They'll use it as an addenda.
Yeah, it's not a reason to pull somebody over. It's a secondary offense, but it becomes a primary offense if you are smoking in a car with a child in the car.
No, definitely, yeah, that's illegal here, but you're still allowed to smoke if it's just you or adults in the car.
Right. Well, you're allowed to smoke as long as you aren't doing a different distracted driving
to distract you. Yeah.
Like if you're not on your phone, they're not going to pull you over. It's not a primary reason to pull you over. So like if you're talking on your phone and eating a sandwich, it would be the same thing. They'd write you a ticket for distracted driving for being on your phone and another ticket for eating a sandwich at the same time.
Thanks, man. I'll see you next time, mate.
And the reasoning behind that is that people are super distracted while they drive, and then they get in car crashes, right? And people don't always die in car crashes, but sometimes they do. But what they always do is waste taxpayers' money. Got to send out a fire truck and an aid car and a bunch of cops, and then there's a traffic jam. Come on now. Trying to incentivize people to pay attention, right?
Does anyone want to see what I got from Amazon?
I did. You were showing me the Amazon box, and I wasn't excited. You ordered liquor from Amazon?
Yeah, because it's cheaper than the shops in town. I only had one bottle left in the country, and I was beautiful price. So I thought, yeah, I can't leave that bottle lonely in the warehouse sitting there gathering dust.
All by its lonesome, just being
Yeah.
sad.
Feel much happier in my belly, I'm sure. One more for the collection.
The collection grows.
But yeah, you know, I sold a car a couple of weeks ago, so I had a little bit of money to splurge on Amazon. So I bought some things, and I bought a frightfully expensive printer for Sarah's artwork to flourish.
Nice.
I did call it an investment, though, so I do expect an ROI at some stage.
Oh, okay.
It's not like I'm that generous.
You could just be generous and just bask in it, you know.
And get my payments in prints of the pictures that I like.
Envelop yourself in the glow of appreciation.
I think she's got a pretty good chance of winning the competition again.
Oh, yeah?
The piece she put in was absolutely splendid.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
My
know
daughter
if-
didn't even come to say goodnight. That's how
she's
much
too
they were
busy
fighting.
fighting.
That's how much they were fighting. Ridiculous. I'm going to go check on him. I'll be right back.
Alrighty,
Yeah,
yeah.
dog. The dog's down here hiding under my feet and has fallen asleep. Come on, Biddy. Come on. Come on, Biddy. Come on, man.
I don't know if I think we did show people this picture, and you can see it on Scungey's Instagram. It's very difficult to show with all this unusual sunlight. It's quite a large piece. It's like, oh, that doesn't help, does it? It's about 2 feet tall. The piece of art itself, it might be on A3, maybe the next size up. It might be A2 paper. It's a pretty big piece, and it's got a lot more detail and whatnot than the piece that she put in last year and won with. So fingers crossed, it goes good. Her nemesis from last year, Sarah said, 1/5 Dr. Black's tall.
Yeah, last night was a sleepless evening, you know.
For everybody.
Oh yeah.
Like if I'm up, you're all up.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sarah's when Sarah went to drop off her piece of art at the gallery the other day, yesterday. Yeah, it was only yesterday. Her nemesis, I like to call her, this lady, her nemesis, because this lady, she had, you know, it was a very, very nice picture in the same category as Sarah's one last year. And it was a massive big 3x2 size picture of a fig tree with gnarled tangly branches and roots and stuff. It was a very nice picture, and Sarah's was this tiny little thing with about 7 lines, not much detail, and she still won with it. And the tree lady was just pouting for the whole awards ceremony and whatnot. She was very cranky that she didn't win with her tree.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, Sarah said when she took the piece up yesterday, that lady was there as well. But I'm not sure if if the other lady recognised Sarah. I'm sure she would, because it'd be deeply ingrained in her that was the lady that beat her in the competition. C23. How are you, Clarence? Good to see you, mate. So yeah, fingers crossed. She'll get another $500 prize in a few weeks.
That'll be good.
Yeah. It came in very handy last year when she won it, because we were both broke AF, and she still needed supplies and whatnot. So yeah, it was very, very timely. Fingers crossed it's just as timely this year. Yeah, you were gone when I showed the piece. I don't know. I think did I send you maybe I sent you a picture of it anyway.
I don't think you did.
Yeah, actually, I don't think I did either. Dink, dink, ding, 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 ding. Yeah, and like she was saying earlier, it's very difficult to get a good picture of it. It's very difficult to show on a screen. But yeah, so much, really, really fine detail in it. Oh, if this guy could hold his hand still enough. Yeah, the madness that comes out of her mind. I'm surprised she's as sane as she is. She hides it well, the insanity. Yeah, Pam, I dig it. I dig it heaps. And now, now that she's got an awesome, fantastic printer to print quality prints out on, might have to buy me a print of that, or I'll probably just, claim it out of my ROI.
Got to get that ROI, man.
Well, that's how the world works. That's capitalism, baby.
That's right. Capitalism. Capitalism run rampant in every aspect. At all times. Forever.
Yeah, it's just a shame that artists have to rely on capitalism as well. But unfortunately, that's where the money is, in the capitalist environment.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I can fully relate to that. I wish I could just make YouTube content and not have to worry about a budget, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
I got to go to work.
Yeah, I'm starting to think I need some kind of side hustle as well.
Yeah, Vicky was asking, she was like, so funny because we were talking about, because we're gonna build an outbuilding for the fish room and stuff, and she was like, can we like crowdfund this? Can we crowdfund building a fish room? And I was just like, yeah, with who? Like, who's gonna pay in on the crowdfunding? Like, it's just I was like, that's a imaginary pipe dream. So stop thinking about it.
I'll send you a tenner. Get you started. Get you half a bag of concrete.
Well, I would get one bag. I think they're about $8 right now for the 80 pounders. But I gotta buy by the truckload, which is surprisingly cheaper than buying by the bag. By the way,
no doubt, no doubt.
I always try to tell people that. They're like, "Oh, I'm gonna get all these bags of concrete, and I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that," and I'm like, "You do understand there are guys that do truckloads of this, right? Like, and it's their thing. Like, that's what they do.
Yeah, just have all your form work and everything ready to go, and just get them to drop it off.
Yeah, you get your forms ready, they'll come and pour it, and you better get ready to handle it. But like I think when I did all the concrete work at my last house, I think the job bid for them to do it was like $16,000, I think. And I did it myself for like a total of, I think, $2,400 or something. So
yeah, right. Wild.
Which, because I had to get multiple different truckloads because I'm like, I can't handle doing a whole load, So, having to pay that minimum concrete truck charge. They're like, hey, dude, we don't drive there for free. If you get a half a load, we still charge you for driving there. That's your problem,
But essentially, it's still, like you say, it still does work out cheaper than buying a shit ton of bags and brewing up your own cement.
Oh yeah, just doing the labor on that.
As well.
Yeah, just doing the labor on that's a fucking nightmare.
Yeah, I still got to do. I got a bag out in the shed that I need to mix up for for my clothesline that I've been procrastinating on for about 6 months now.
Yeah.
I got the hole dug. It's got a bucket in the hole so no animals fall down the hole, but still got the old clothesline strung up to the trees, holding it upright. How are you, Kenny? Good to see you, mate. Welcome.
Always good. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we did a job last year where we had to do I think it was 12 feet by 8 foot, and I think it was like 14 inches deep. And
slab.
Yeah, we had to do that with bags and a mixer. We broke the mixer. But it's one of those things where it's like it's two guys out there like working hard, like not goofing off all day, humping bags, mixing bags, dumping them, mixing bags, carrying bags, dumping them, and you're just like, is this, we could have got the truckload here for,
what are you doing?
$600.
Huh? Steal it from the bottom dangly bits. Just come and grab the secateurs and cut a bunch of it off. Because it doesn't matter that it's growing way down there behind the spath leaves. Yeah, well, thankfully mine's the stuff I've got to do is just a 2 foot deep hole, about a foot, probably under, about 10 inches.
Yeah,
round.
Stick a post in it.
Yeah, so I'll just be hand mixing that with a shovel in a wheelbarrow, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Don't have access to a cement mixer, but yeah, it certainly doesn't take that much effort to mix up that much concrete. Yeah, I'm just scared that I'll stuff the ratios up and have concrete that won't set or something. See you, mate.
It's pretty easy. You just get something. You get like a. What do you guys have? Liters? So you get like an 8 liter, a 10 liter container, and then measure out into the bucket how much water you need, and then mark a line on it. And then just use the bucket for measuring water.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. I don't think I've got any buckets that have, we sometimes have the cheapy plastic buckets that have lines for the liters and whatnot.
Right.
I don't think I've got any of those that would hold water at the moment.
Yeah, those always get broken first.
Yeah, especially when you buy them for 99 cents from the hardware store or from the supermarket. Yep. They're not exactly renowned for their quality.
Nope, they don't last long.
Even though
which is why nowadays I just buy the white buckets. I buy the white food grade buckets. They seem to last the longest.
Yeah, well, that's what all of my 60%, 70% of my fish tank buckets are 15-liter olive buckets that they would bring the olives into the supermarket that I used to work at, and I'd snavel up as many as those as I could.
Yeah, actually, olives and pickles. The stupid mayonnaise buckets are square.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
get out your stupid square bucket.
Old pool chlorine bucket. Yeah, but most of them I've got now. Oh, that was an interesting sound.
Yeah, that was weird.
Most of my square buckets I've either turned into DIY filters, or they're just growing aquatic plants around the space.
What are you thinking about? Obi-Wan? Are you happy so far?
I am happy so far. I'm very much enjoying it.
Oh, you're like into it. You're not questioning any of the weirdness going on?
Depending on, sure, there's certainly flaws in it. But I think in nowadays Star Wars stuff where becoming inured to that there's going to be flaws, there's going to be questions.
Right.
And I'm almost in the frame of mind thinking that they deliberately do stuff like that just to generate more talk, you know?
Oh yeah. I feel like it doesn't. I don't know. Maybe that's what's going on. That's a good theory. I don't feel like it's worth it though. I mean, I just think that like I just think that they've screwed up so many times that they're just like, who cares? You know.
That could be a valid reason as well.
Mhm.
Before we get into it too much, though, I'm going to go and make myself a drink and wrestle a crocodile so I can think
All right.
straighter without thinking all about my bladder and stuff.
Sure.
I really need to get one of those catheter things going.
Old man catheter. Oh yeah. Oh, I should do some shameless self-promotion, right? Should I do shameless self-promotion? Hey, if you're not a member on my YouTube channel, you should become a member. Here's a button. I'm a moderator. I can post it. If you want to see future fish content of me building the fish room, you'll love it. Oh my God. You're going to love it so much. There'll probably be a lot of outtakes on this one of me dropping F-bombs with beeps over it, which is funny because I think the only place in the world where you bleep your F-bombs and then you get comments from people that are like, why even bother putting it in there if you're going to bleep it out? Which I think still to this day is one of the funniest comments I've ever gotten, I think, of years and years of making YouTube stuff. I think it's still the funniest comment. Like, why bother putting it in the video at all if you're going to bleep it out? Somebody's texting me. I bet you it's Vicky.
What was bleeped out?
I bleeped out F-bombs out of a video. Excuse me. And somebody sent, it was a super lengthy comment, but the gist of it was like, why would you bother even putting that in the video if you're going to bleep it out?
Well, were you like scripting it or were you ad-libbing it and just doing it off the cuff?
There's just some stuff happened and I swore and I bleeped it out so it would be friendly for the childlike child people or whoever. I don't know. You know, because initially, like when I started on YouTube, I had cultivated a really like sort of adult oriented audience, you know? Like people knew to understand that like my channel was going to be super crass, right? And then as I started to collaborate with more kid-friendly channels and stuff, like suddenly I got a bunch of audience members that were like offended if I swore. And so I don't know, I don't even remember what video it was. It was some video I made and then I don't know, I was swearing in one of the takes or something. And I didn't want to go like refilm it or whatever, so I just bleeped them out. And then I made a joke of it and then bleeped out random words following. which I was like, I think people would just think that was funny and like chuckle at it. Like not a deep like, wow, my mind's blown. That's so funny. Not George Carlin funny, just like, oh yeah, right, that's funny, right, kind of thing. But no, you get like an outraged person that's just like, why even bother put that in the video? Like, you know, yeah. So like YouTube's the only place where you would get that comment. You know what I mean? I just like it's the only place. Where did that guy come from? I don't know, but
it would have been amazing to be a fly on the wall at their initial reaction to hearing it.
Right.
Whether they just screamed at the walls and got so infuriated that they just had to type a response.
Yeah, frantically, furiously thrashing about, probably on their cell phone. Most people aren't on their computer. I've learned that, you know.
probably
Most people
should
aren't
have
on their
said
computer. Everybody's on their phone now.
screaming at the walls of his mum's basement.
Mm.
If, basements are a thing.
Screaming in my mother's basement.
That's got potential.
That's a Patton Oswalt. You
Oh,
know Patton Oswalt when he does the sadness depression bowls, the KFC Kentucky Fried Chicken sadness depression bowls. You
I
should
do
look that
not-
one up. That one is
not
just
familiar with
genius.
that.
It's a genius bit that he does about KFC and like how disgusting KFC is, and then like how do
Couldn't
they
agree
make
more.
it even worse? We stuck it all in a bowl. You just have just eat this out of a bowl.
Did you ever see the Heart She Holler?
The heart she holla.
Yeah, the HEARTSHE, one word, holler, as in yell, because
I don't think
apparently
so.
that's some kind of electoral division over there, a holler. Yeah, it's this very, very out there crazy comedy show. I think there was only 6 or 8 episodes of it. But yeah, really, really bizarre and zany stuff, and definitely worth a watch. I tried to look for it again the other day, but nowhere. None of the streaming services that I'm subscribed to has it. I think the only option to me was renting it from YouTube.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, definitely, if you like your bizarre out there comedy, that's definitely a good one to watch. It's got Patton Oswalt and Kristen Schaal. And now one of the dudes from Ozark, the dude who got his nuts or dick blown off by the gun, he's in the Heart She Holler as well as a policeman. Very good show. Very enjoyable if you like your bent, twisted stuff, because it is quite twisted, as I'm sure you'd expect coming from Patton Oswalt's mind. I'm sure he was the main mind behind it.
Oh, this is season 2. Oh yeah, I've seen this.
Does it stream on a streaming service over there?
No, it's just on YouTube.
Yeah, right.
Adult Swim.
Actually,
Yeah,
that's one thing.
apparently you just got to get a VPN and just say you're in the States, and then you'll be able to watch it on YouTube.
That's certainly because I did that before with Green Wing. I don't know if you know that British TV show set in a hospital. Very, very funny, good show. And I was looking everywhere for it, streaming nowhere. And then I look it up on YouTube, and every single episode's just on YouTube.
Right.
Maybe I'll look up the Heart She Holler on YouTube if it's some dodgy person's put up an illegal thingy.
No, the Heart She Holler was on Adult Swim. So.
Well, it is. It's just on YouTube as well. Oh my God. There's season 3 trailer. Oh, that was 7 years ago. There must be 3 seasons of it. Yeah, I'm going to have to go and watch it on YouTube then. It's a very, very funny show. And Green Wing as well, if you like English comedy.
Check season 2.
Green Wing. So anyway, back to Obi-Wan. Now that I had a really nice warm pee too, just because the not the pee was probably body temperature, but the sunlight at the moment is at the northwest, and it just was streaming in through my bathroom window, so my back was bathed in sunlight as I was doing a wee, and I got quite warm in there. It was nice. It's so nice.
Are you missing the warm weather?
No, hell no. I much prefer the cold.
Oh. You should move up here. You only get 5 hours of 70 plus degrees.
Over 5 months.
Over a 5-month period, yeah.
Yeah, no, autumn may be potentially one of my favourite times of year, just because it's generally so clear and crisp and windy and cold and not much rain. That this year's been a bit of a misnomer, because there has been quite a lot of rain during the autumn.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's been flooded like a bastard out there.
Yeah, it's been stupid and ridiculous. And the ground's just, you walk anywhere and it's still soggy and muddy and stuff. So fingers crossed with all of this wind and clear weather, at least the ground might be able to dry out a bit more. So when the next big rain event comes along, it just doesn't flood instantly, because unfortunately that's what happens when the ground is saturated. The littlest amount of rain can create a flash flood in no time.
Right.
So anyway, let's talk about Obi-Wan.
Oh, you do now? No. Okay. So, like as we were talking about before, so you've just acclimated. You've just acclimated to
Acceptance.
the accepting of the fuckery, right?
Yeah.
Realistically.
What's your biggest beef?
Well,
Let's start at the worst and work our way back.
start at the worst and then head forward. Okay, so let's say episode 1. I've only watched episode 1 and 2, so I'm not sure where. I don't know if 3's out yet.
Friday comes out.
Or this Friday. Okay, so I watched 1 and 2. Now, the beginning is Obi-Wan, and he's just living a hobo's life for some reason on Tatooine. And he's like a day laborer, and he's like a day laborer undercover, and he's like just doing that. Like, so we're kind of fast forwarded it. It's like it's 10 years after, right? And we've kind of fast forward, and I'm assuming we're gonna do it's gonna be that same thing where there's gonna be like with the Book of Boba Fett, the like flashbacks of like how bad it was or whatever, right? Which,
Well, I mean, this show started with a flashback of the Order 66 in the Jedi Temple.
right. I mean, they started to tell you like how magnificent the Jedi fought, which you're like, they didn't fight magnificently, because like they were all slaughtered first off, which is
It was
like
an onslaught.
yeah, but they were all slaughtered. So first off, you didn't like fight magnificently, and the ones that weren't slaughtered just became inquisitors, right? They just said, "Oh, screw it, I'm just going to become a bad guy now." And so the whole Order 66 thing has always sat very odd with me, because it doesn't make any sense how they underpower the Jedi to just be taken out by the clones, right? Like, because the whole thing is that they're supposed to be sort of overpowered, but then they, in my opinion, you sort of underpower their abilities by just like, well, we said kill them, and then we killed them all, and then that's what happened, and that was the end. I think it would have like narratively worked a lot better if
It was more of a battle.
yeah,
Not
I mean,
not just
if
over
it was
in
more
minutes.
if it was more of a prolonged battle though too, right? That they literally, because Order 66 has always been like, well, we ordered to kill him, and then it took like a half an hour, and there we go, the Jedi are gone now, right? I mean, even Yoda like sort of put up a fight and then flew away for I don't know what reason. Was he injured? I don't know. He just like fell down the Senate floor, and then they just flew away. He was like, I'm out. Never mind.
Yeah, to be fair, that probably was his most full honest battle that he's ever experienced, having to fight against the most powerful Sith that ever was. I think he knew he was done, and if he was going to hang around, he was just going to get fucked up.
Well, yeah, but then like later on, you find out that they're Force ghosts that can talk to everybody. Like so. I feel like they've written themselves around like screwing everything up so badly that like you really. To me, it formulates issues in my head of going like, yeah, okay, you could Order 66, but they've always downplayed it so much that it was just like, here's the thing that happened, but and everybody moved on, and then everybody forgot, right? But then it's like, here we are 10 years later, and people are emulating the Jedi, like, which was never the case in any of the other movies, right? Like, like in almost everything else that's been Star Wars, it's like, I don't know, the Jedi, they're just like this myth from 1,000 years ago. But it's like Luke is 19 years old or whatever, right? When he meets Obi-Wan. And it was only 19 years before, which, by the way, in our timeline would be 2002, right? Have we forgotten everything that's happened since 19 years ago? Like, what? Like, so
Yeah,
I don't know.
because
It's
you'd
like,
think that with the success from the Empire that they'd be broadcasting how for years to come that the Jedi were so terrible at what they did and we destroyed them for the security of the galaxy. You'd think that sort of nonsense would keep going on for a few years afterwards. But yeah, I do
well, I think
agree
that's
that it
true.
does.
But like, when did the USSR fall? Like 1991,
91, yeah,
91, 94, 91.
91.
So like, that's an additional decade plus, right? And we all know what the USSR was, right? So like, this shit doesn't make sense to me, right? Where it's like, and then here we are with like in Obi-Wan Kenobi, it turns out that Uncle Ben is like shunning Obi-Wan, or what's his name? Uncle Owen is shunning Obi-Wan Kenobi. Like, apparently they've just been beefing this whole time, where Owen is like, get the fuck out of here, Jedi, you dick. I don't like you. I'm Uncle Owen. Like, what? Uncle Owen was just like a moisture farmer, right?
Yeah, but
Like,
I think he knew what had happened with Luke's father, and that sort of certainly comes to the fore in that. Oh, hang on, that might be in. Did you say no? That was. Have you watched both episodes?
yeah, 1 and 2, yeah.
Right. When
But I'm just like, you're adding in all of this stuff. Like, why would Uncle Owen know anything? Why would he know anything if no one else knows anything? Like, the Mandalorian doesn't even know what Jedi are. He's just wandering around. Like,
I would imagine that Obi-Wan, when he first brought Luke to Owen, he would have had to tell him something. But yeah, being that Tatooine,
I'm sure that he could have told him something, but he has the power of the Force. These are not the droids you're looking for. Like, he can fucking convince people of shit with the Force power. Oh, this is your sister's child. Your sister died. Here's the baby. You have to take care of it. It's, like, it's such an easy storyline. Uncle Owen is sterile because he worked at the moisture farm. He always wanted to have a kid. His sister went off, or whoever went off, and had a baby. This is your family. This is your family member. You're the only person left to take care of this kid. Simple. Like, but now it's, oh, Uncle Owen's like he's a tough guy, moisture farmer who's making a stand against a fucking Sith Jedi Inquisitor, whatever the Inquisitors. They have the Force power of the dark side, and he's just pointing a lightsaber in his face, and he's like, stoic moisture farmer. If you're gonna cut my head off, I guess cut my head off, bro. I've been collecting water on a desert planet, okay? Like, I'm making a stand for the righteous of my whatever. Like, what is going on here? Like, why? What's
they-
his motivation? What's Uncle Owen's motivation to be like, I'm gonna stand up to what I would consider to be an all-powerful fighter who, by the way, just cut someone's hand off 20 seconds earlier with the lightsaber. Just some peasant.
Yeah,
What?
that was a little bit questionable because he was so, anti Obi-Wan, but obviously he's got some kind of conscience because he doesn't want to rat Obi-Wan out.
Right. Like, what is going on here? This is just fucking like, this doesn't make any sense writing wise. Because if Uncle Owen is just a peasant guy who is a family man who takes care of the kid, which, by the way, has been the story this whole time, why is he all of a sudden like he's self-righteous? He won't even talk to Uncle Obi-Wan Kenobi because hey, you've done so you know what you've done. You remember what you did. You remember what you did last summer. Right? Like what is going on here? So
I think his beef is probably because the kid that Obi-Wan trained let his sister die. I'm sure that's where his motivation is coming from. That because Anakin was off doing other things, and Shmi died because he was absent. I think that's where most of his animosity is hidden from. He says, like you trained his father, and his father became an evil, nasty guy.
Right. So it's like now Uncle Owen knows all of the lore of the universe. He knows that Obi-Wan Kenobi trained Anakin, right? Like Uncle Owen just knows all this shit. By the way, he's only looks like he's like 40. Right. So like if his sister
he's Australian, they age well.
Right. But you're going like if his sister was a slave and had a kid when she was young and he was young, and that kid grew up and then had a kid, he would be at least like 55, maybe 60 or something, at this point right now. Like, I don't know. Maybe the timelines are just magic because of magic, right? So, I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense. And like, I don't know if anybody out there has ever met a poor person before, right? Like, has anybody that's making these shows like ever met a poor person? Like, poor people don't do self-righteously standing up to what is ultimately like, I don't know, the SS or whatever. Like, I don't know how bad are the Inquisitors? The Inquisitors are so bad. All of the town just stops and stares at three of them getting off of a ship, right? Which, by the way, is the stupidest scene to put in a show. Like, they don't need to be introduced as these are the baddies whilst they walk through the town and all the townspeople just stare at them like from behind a barrel or whatever, right? Like, why would you put that shot in the movie? Like, or in the show?
I thought that was quite a poignant moment, but the one thing that I found iffy about it was that characters like that would be so much better introduced under the cover of night instead of in the middle of the day, because those Inquisitors look brutal in the darkness.
Right. Like, why would you show up at high noon and land in the middle of the road and then be like, we start walking down the street right now. Hi, I'm walking down the middle of the street right now. Like, who would do that? Let's assume that you're an Inquisitor and you want to get information out of people, right? Like announcing yourself. What? You've just eliminated all of your subterfuge and moments of surprise, right? Like,
well, I would imagine by this time, after reading the comics and stuff, the Inquisitors have been getting around for obviously 10 years and being quite well known for what they're about and what they're doing.
Right.
I think the subterfuge factor is probably waned off a little bit, and they just don't give a fuck anymore, and they just go wherever they want, whenever they want. I do have a theory on
I think that's probably
Owen's.
part of it, but like, there's even a part in Obi-Wan that they're like, "You're in the Outer Rim. You guys don't have any say here, right?" Like, that's consistently come up that like Tatooine is far away. It's not like directly under control.
And
It's out in-
it's also part of the theory as to why they might not know so much about Jedi and stuff like that, because they're in the Outer Rim, so they don't necessarily get all of the Empire's broadcasts and whatnot, even though we do see quite a few of them in the first 2 episodes.
Yeah, even though there's a Jedi there that isn't Obi-Wan Kenobi. It obviously can't. It obviously can't be that rare and that unknown if everyone's covering for the Jedi, right? The other one, whoever that guy is, fart butt, tattoo.
I don't think that many people knew that that kid was there. I have a theory on Owen's stoicism, if you like, that the main reason he got all gritty and defendy and stuff was because Luke was a bloody good worker on the farm, and he knew that if Luke was to be trained, he was going to be taken away from the farm and he was going to lose his best worker. So that's why he dug his heels in. Solid theory or what?
Well, like he just wants laborer. He just wants a laborer.
Yeah, he knows his best laborer is gonna not do all of his chores if he goes training Jedi and stuff.
I'm not saying that that's not a theory, but like I mean, if that's Owen's reasoning, if that's Uncle Owen's reasoning, I'd then just throw him out. You might as well just burn him now, because like if his reasoning is like I'm going to lose my day laborer, then that guy sucks. That guy sucks real bad.
Well, I mean, it's Joel Edgerton.
Well, yeah, the namesake carries. But like, you know what I mean? It's like so far, I hate to say it, but like I get disappointed by. I get disappointed by like what they're putting out. What they're putting out. I don't know. It just there's so many points where you just go like, what the fuck? Why is this? Why did anybody think that this is supposedly makes sense? You know, it's like. And why do we have to know what Uncle Owen is upset? So like he knows that Luke is a Jedi. Like he knows now that Luke is a Jedi, right? Do you understand that? When Obi-Wan is like, "Oh, is he showing? I have to train him."
Yeah, well, I think
Uncle Owen now knows that Luke is a Jedi. You understand? The complication that puts. That Uncle Owen has had to keep the secret that Luke is a Jedi, is a Force sensitive Jedi, right? This whole time for like 20 years.
Fuck, I forgot what I was going to say.
It's like, I mean, to me, it's an added complication to the story, which like, why would you tell him that? Why would you, if you were Obi-Wan Kenobi, why would you give him that information? Because that's the only place where he would have gotten it from.
I have a strange
Luke Skywalker is going to be Luke Skywalker is going to be a really powerful Jedi, so I need you to keep an eye on him for 20 years. But I'm also going to hang around and keep an eye on him too, but not like here. I'm going to be like over there in a cave, just sort of peeping and being a creep.
What I reckon is that obviously Obi-Wan and Owen have had, it's been a 10-year period. So obviously they've had some level of interaction on multiple occasions where potentially things have been learned.
Obi-Wan Kenobi is supposed to be one of the best Jedi, right?
Yeah, it's been 10 years, while the kid was young, he's probably looking in before the kid can remember stuff and whatnot. He's probably looking in and learning how he's going.
What was the queen that he fell in love with? The Mandalore queen. What's her name? The blonde chick.
Satine.
Satine, who got murdered in front of him because he wasn't willing to quit being a Jedi, basically, and admit that he loved her.
Well, he
Right.
did tell her that he would have left the order for her.
Right.
They've both admitted their love for one another at different points during the Clone Wars.
Right. So, like, that guy is just going to be like Chatty Cathy to Uncle Owen that the kid's going to be a Jedi. Like, why, you know what I'm saying? Like, I could
Yeah.
understand if you were like a shitty Jedi that had never really done very much of anything, that like maybe you've been hanging around and you had a couple of beers or whatever and you decided to tell Uncle Owen, like, oh, he's going to be a Jedi, and you thought Uncle Owen wouldn't have remembered it. And then it turns out next morning Uncle Owen remembered you're getting drunk or whatever. But like, but this guy is just giving off information. The guy who, by the way, is dedicating his life to staying undercover, working in a fish packing plant, cutting fish all day for the last 10 years, is literally just spilling the beans to Uncle Owen.
Yes, that is an excellent point. We do hear in the dialogue in the show that Obi-Wan has disconnected himself from the Force, so maybe he's not as great a Jedi as he once considered himself to be or was considered to be. Plus, I still think that over, the first probably 5 or 6 years and maybe more of Luke's life, there would have been multiple interactions between Obi-Wan and Owen, where maybe little bits here and there were disclosed, and then Owen has gleaned a bunch of information together into one storyline in his mind.
Okay, so you're telling me that the Jedi who was sent out to go on emissary missions to deal with the fucking espionage of the Senate, to deal with all of these pirates, throne negotiations, all this crazy stuff. The guy who went through all of that stuff is just now, and by the way, who is now representing the fact that he is 100% under control for the last 9 or 10 years to stay undercover, to have no contact with the Force because that would alert the Inquisitors, right? Because Darth Vader is looking for him, right? Darth Vader is basically solely focused on hunting down Obi-Wan Kenobi. Obi-Wan Kenobi is so dedicated to not being hunted down to save Luke that he will no longer touch the Force, who buried his lightsaber in the middle of the desert and has been working at a fish packing plant for the last 10 years, earning like 2 copper a day or whatever the hell it is, to live in a cave of solitude by himself, to watch over. He's going to do all of that stuff, but then he's going to be like, "Hey, Uncle Owen, I just wanted to tell you Luke's going to be he's going to be a big Jedi someday, so like let me know when he starts picking stuff up with his mind, and then I'm going to teach him." That's what I'm supposed to find that to be believable. Like I'm supposed to invest my brain into going like, yeah, that makes sense, right? It's like trying to invest yourself. It's trying to invest yourself into the Book of Boba Fett, and then all of a sudden, there's a biker gang with the perfectly clean speeders that are throwbacks from 1970s America, retro British Clash, biker gang, mod squad. Like, what's going on here? Because I'm of the inclination to go, I believe that Obi-Wan is this dedicated, right? But then you start doing things in the show that show the fact that, oh, never mind, he's not really that dedicated. He's just kind of a fuck up. Like he's just a goof now. Is he like
maybe he was incredibly emotionally affected by Order 66 and it just destroyed him as a person, and he was very sad for many, many years because he certainly puts off that sad vibe on while he's working and the trips to and from the city.
Right. But he's also like working for basically slave wages so that he could save up to buy a toy to drop off for Luke in the cover of night. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you have this, like, he's super dedicated to this, and then also just sort of fucking it up. Like, just, well, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's just stuff like that where it completely takes me out of the show. We're like, why is this a plot line, and why is this plot line important? Because the plot line previous was Uncle Owen and Aunt, what is their name? Aunt
Peru.
Aunt Ruth?
Peru.
I don't know what her name is.
Yeah, it's
I don't know.
Peru, like the
Peru?
country.
Oh, Peru? So, like, in episode 1, they die, and it's tragic because they are just innocent bystanders, right?
Episode 4, they die in.
Or episode 4, sorry, the first movie. They die, and it's a tragedy because they're innocent bystanders, right? But now it rewrites that scene to be they're not innocent bystanders. They knew that Luke would be a Jedi that would bring down the Order or whatever, right? So they stood up, and then they were shot and burned, right? So, like, you're rewriting a movie that came out 45 years ago. But to what end, right?
Well, it was never implied in episode 4 that they did or didn't know stuff.
It was 100% implied in episode 4 that they didn't know anything. Like, they had no clue of what was going on. Luke went to go back and then had nothing to go back to because everyone was dead there. You know, unless I'm completely misinterpreting the original movie and like the original theme of like the boy leaves the farm, right?
You know, I don't think they dived deep enough into what was going on with Owen and Peru's mental state or what they knew and didn't know.
Right.
I think it was quite convenient that they didn't dive too deep into it then, so they could fiddle around with the storyline nowadays.
Right.
I think they call it a sand shark. Yes, the fish that they were cutting up. I have a strange feeling they're called sand
I think
shark.
it's something like that. But I don't know. It's stuff like this that completely pisses me off. That you're rewriting, you're running into other stuff. You're retconning shit. You know, you're like, and why? Like, you have a universe. Like, stick to the rules of the universe. You shouldn't be able to jump into light speed and destroy the whole, or jump, you know.
Yeah, I tend to agree with S that I think that you could easily go back to episode 4 now and believe that at least Owen knew, but he didn't want to share that information with Luke to put heady ideas into his brain to keep him working on the farm. So it's quite easy to accept that Owen did know in episode 4 because he was quite determined to keep Luke there and not have him go off and be trained.
But the thematic point of in episode 4, his aunt and uncle are killed because they're innocent bystanders in order to explain, hey, the Empire is bad, right? Because that's your introduction to the Empire. There has been nothing previous to that about the Empire, who's the Empire, where's the Empire, any of that. And
except for the opening sequence to episode 4.
Yes, the opening sequence has to do with Princess Leia, but Luke doesn't seem to recognize anything about the Empire or how bad they are or anything like that, right? In episode 4, he's like, I just kind of want to get off this planet. I'm going to get the power converters.
I disagree because he wants to go, I know what's his mate Wedge, who goes off to the Imperial Academy, and it doesn't Luke say something about going to fight against the Empire? Oh, that might be an Empire Strikes Back. But yeah, it's pretty iffy. But I think they handled it quite well, and they sort of weaved the storylines well together. The bit that I had the most trepidation about was in episode 2, when I think it's when Obi-Wan is rescuing Leia, and
Well, look, like
he finds out
okay.
that Darth
Like-
Vader's still alive, and it's like it's the first time he's found out in 10 years that Anakin's still alive. And it's like, how haven't you heard about the shit that he's been doing for the last 10 years? It seemed like so shocking to him.
oh right,
that
yeah,
Darth-
that
that
Anakin's
Darth
still
Vader
alive.
was- yeah, that's my biggest hole in the plot that I found, was that
I mean, I'm just talking about
the
the beginning plots here, where it's like, I mean, so far there's just so many, and it's like S says, here you go. Obi-Wan is an evil genius and used a plan to Owen's death to catalyst Luke into becoming a Jedi. Okay, that's
I
cool,
like it.
but why
I
was
like
he
that
so?
theory.
But why was he also so weirdly aloof when he was, what's his name, Sir? Who was the guy who played him initially? Sir, what's his name? I don't know.
Alec Guinness.
Alec Guinness. Why was he like, oh, haven't really heard that name in a long time? You know, like he was all just, I'm a guy who lives out in the desert now, and that's all I'm doing. Like-
Because when the first time that he moved to Tatooine, he was old Ben, and by the time Luke calls him Obi-Wan, that's
Yeah,
like
but
19 years later.
in this episode, he's been staring at Luke sleeping for the last 10 years. What is he just like? Oh, I forgot about that as he got older. I only wanted to look at him when he was between 0 and 10. And then he got too old. Now I'm gonna just go stare at the sun. Like what? You know, like it makes no sense, because now he's in a conflict with Uncle Owen about training Luke. Like his intentions right now are to train Luke when he starts to show his powers. Like, does everybody just find that acceptable? Like, Obi-Wan Kenobi is on this planet to train Luke when he starts to show that he's force sensitive. He's having conversations with Uncle Owen about it. Uncle Owen doesn't want him to train him to be a Jedi. And this will have been going on for 20 years.
Maybe at some
And
stage.
then all of a sudden, and then when Luke runs into him, he's just like, I don't know, I've just been out here barking with the sand people. So they're a majestic sand peoples. They're coming for us, though. We better run away. You know,
maybe during the show we'll be exposed to why Obi-Wan backed off on the pressure on Luke. If you know what I mean. If you get what I'm saying, if you're picking up what I'm putting down. Well,
I don't know. I mean, I'm picking up what you're putting down, but they're like, I don't know. I'm already disappointed in the like, but we need to expand the character of Uncle Owen to be like a self-righteous just man. Like, why? He's just a guy who's a farmer. Like, just let him be a guy who's just a farmer.
well,
Like,
I mean,
I don't know.
He's an Australian actor that's been struggling for work, so maybe he got on the script writer's ear and said,
Well, no, I mean, you could
give me some
expand
action.
you could expand your contact with the character, right? You could expand like coming into contact with Uncle Owen. He could be doing stuff. There could be things that are going on where he's just a farmer guy who's like, he come into town. He could run into Kenobi and just be like, I don't know who that. He could just be like, I don't know who that is, because Obi-Wan Kenobi like fucking force wiped his memory of who he is, so that he could just remain, I don't know, anonymous, considering the whole empire is hunting to murder him. Like, why would you want people to know who you are? You're doing all this stuff to cover up your tracks, but you're just telling people out loud who you are. I'm Obi-Wan Kenobi, okay? Take this baby. I'm going to teach this baby how to do force lightning when the baby gets older, okay? But don't tell nobody. But then every time I run into you into town, we'll have a talk about it while we're out in the middle of the street, because that's totally keeping the secret good. That's how I do it. That's how I do secrets, Obi-Wan Kenobi style. And I'll be right up on that hill over there in case you look that direction. The one direction where there's rocks, and I'll be up there. And also, like, if any other Jedi comes around, they'll be able to just find me while they're on foot, while I'm on my weird camel thing moving around in the darkness.
Oh, it's hard to see. You can't really see it.
What am I looking at here?
Just above the brown chair,
little bird.
white head bobbing up and down.
Somebody's stealing your seed.
No, it's his seed. I put it there for him. That's a Wonga pigeon.
All right.
He's a bit flighty though. But I'm trying to inure him to my presence.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the one thing that I know about keeping a secret is that you can't tell anybody about it. That's the thing. That's the thing about keeping a secret, and especially like when a whole bunch of like specially trained like murderers are after you and stuff. Like the last thing you want to do is just tell people about all the stuff that's going on. Like, let me just tell Uncle Owen all the stuff, and then he'll know, and then we'll just let him make a decision about whether or not Luke's going to be trained or not, and then that's what we'll go with.
Well, I can only imagine that Obi-Wan would have only imagined that Owen would have had Luke's best interests at heart. But like I said earlier,
Obi-Wan Kenobi cut the arms and legs off of his apprentice that was like his son. Right? Have we forgotten that? He went to the length of cutting the arms and legs off of the guy who was his apprentice for 20 years?
You were my brother, Anakin.
Right. He was his brother. He cut his arms and legs off. He left him on a lava planet to die. Like, he went to all of that. And then he literally is just like chatting it up around the water cooler with Uncle Owen about being a Jedi while Inquisitors are in town on a rim planet. Like, what? Okay. I don't know. None of this shit makes sense to me. I guess the Jedi are just stupid morons, and I guess maybe that's why all the clones just shot them when they got an order and they all died.
Well, I think the Jedis were what's the word? They were blinded by their training, but they didn't have a worldly view, as it were. They were very narrow-minded people, as open as we were told to think that they were or are. But they were still trained to be very simple-minded, simple people. Mate, make up your mind. What are you doing? I think the Wonga pigeon's having a stroke. It's turned away from the seed tray and it's just sat there.
Just being weird.
Oh, now he's walking off just in time.
Yeah, all right, weird. Mate. It's 10 o'clock though. It's 10 o'clock for me. I gotta go.
All right, watch Stranger Things so we can talk about that next week.
Okay.
Watch Obi-Wan. We'll keep rabbiting on about that. I'll keep defending it and you'll keep attacking it. We know how it goes.
Well, here's the thing, man. I like it, but like, it just pisses me off when you have all the money in the world, like, to make a production and just like, hey, can somebody read this so that we can make fucking heads or tails of like what we're doing? Like, I don't. It's like, I don't know. They just seem to they like continuity errors be damned. Like they're just like whatever. Well, it's just fucking. We're just I don't know. Let's just make wacky shit and then we'll just explain it later in a fucking YouTube video interview behind the scenes. I don't know.
I'm also interested if we'll see any presence by the Crimson Dawn in this series at all, because the Darth Vader comics that led into the War of the Bounty Hunter comics, which led into the Crimson Reign comics, seem to all be around approximately the same timeline. So it'd be very interesting if we get some Crimson Dawn activity in this as well. I have a strange feeling that Crimson Dawn might come along and be the heroes in this series.
It'd be interesting, but they'll probably all be riding unicycles and
pogo sticks,
smoking cigars. I don't know what the fuck they'll be doing. It just like
curly mustaches.
Yeah, well, we had an idea, so we just put it in. You know, we just did it. Like, fucking, who cares? You know, I don't know, man. The thing that's the stuff that like really bothers me. Like, you can have shitty graphics or like fucked up sound, or like maybe this doesn't look as good as it should, or you know, maybe this wasn't acted as well as it could be. Like, you know, maybe, you know, somebody had more heartfelt, you know, it could have been more, you know, you could have tugged at the heartstrings harder, or maybe you edited this a little bit funny. Like, maybe this shot should have been longer, or this should have been shorter, or what, like all that kind of stuff. Like, I can assuredly look past if your writing makes sense, you know? I don't know, and that's just like this stuff that pisses me off is like the continuity stuff like that, where it's just like, why would anybody be like doing any of this stuff this way if they're supposedly this person, right? And in my mind, in my world, Obi-Wan Kenobi would be one of the few people in this universe that understand how high the stakes are, and would be taking it, and would be taking it very seriously. And he is like taking it seriously, but only in like a performative way, because he's like, I'm not a Jedi anymore. I would never do that. But you got to save Leia. I'm not going to do that. But you gotta. Okay. What? Like, you just spent the last decade sacrificing and doing that, and then like somebody asks you to go do a thing, and then, by the way, he's like stumbling around like a confused person, like, how does this ticket work? How do I get, where do I go?
That's the Sunstroke.
I'm just gonna ask people right outside of the spaceship, like, where are the kidnappers? Do you know where the kidnappers are? I'm looking for them. Like, wow, this guy's like he's really trained.
Lost his touch.
Seems like he really spent, I don't know, the first 40 years of his life doing a thing and then just kind of forgot it all. Like,
hey, we all slip away from our prime at some stage.
Yeah. Okay.
Perfect response.
It's just like, you know, it's like, I went to school for 20 years to become a physicist, and then, you know, I wasn't doing physics for a little while, and I just forgot all of it. I don't even know what a number is anymore, you know?
Now I just smash rocks in a quarry.
Is that a 5? What the fuck? You know, like, what? You'd be like, I went to school for maths for 40 years. I took a break for 9 years to do some jogging in the desert and stuff. And now I don't even know what numbers are anymore.
Huawei says bring back Qui-Gon. And Liam Neeson has famously said in interviews that he would not be returning to Star Wars.
No, he won't.
We definitely will not be seeing him in the Obi-Wan series, but I think it was yesterday or the day before they've announced that Liam Neeson will be returning to the Star Wars universe in an upcoming series.
Everybody likes money.
Yeah,
everybody likes money.
I think that's even what he said in the It was like on a late night talk show or something, and he was saying that he wouldn't be going back because they can't afford me or something like that.
Right.
But obviously the pockets were deep enough to reach in for old Qui-Gon to make a return in some new
S has
series.
S has an interesting point here. They should make Johnny Depp a Jedi. But here's the problem. Johnny Depp won't ever work for Disney ever again.
Because of the recent tumult.
He well, I mean, he what do you call it? He testified in court to it. So I can't imagine going back on that one because they took away Captain Jack Sparrow from him and recast Jack Sparrow because of the Amber Heard situation. And in court, in the last couple of weeks, he testified he would never work for Disney again because of that.
Yeah,
because of their lack of faith in him and the fact that they stole his character that he developed that made them billions of dollars, not millions, billions of dollars. And they kicked him to the curb.
I'm so glad I've been absolutely avoiding every piece of social media and video that pops up relating to that court case.
Well, I mean, it's actually pretty good because you realize that Johnny Depp's just an old drunk kind of dude who, by the way, got sober to try and mend that relationship.
Yeah. And she's obviously got more issues than what a drunk would have.
Oh yeah. It's way worse than most people thought. But the first trial was in England and was not televised. And so
they don't do that over there.
Well, they refused it. They requested it, but the court in England refused it. But the reason that it's in, I forget which state it's in. It's in like Virginia or something crazy. I forget what state they're in, but it's in a state specifically so that it could be televised. Because Johnny Depp, I don't think even wants to win the defamation case. I think he just wants people to understand that like he wasn't abusing somebody.
Yeah.
Like he was just in a shitty relationship that somebody was abusing him, and he would like to just be able to go back to work and do his job and stuff and just have himself
just to have people know that he's not the nasty arsehole that she's making him out to be.
Yeah. That he's not a psychotic abuser. He's just an old drunk, and has certainly made mistakes and is definitely not mistake free, but not to the level of like I should never have a job ever again type situation. So I think that's what it is. It's clearing his name in the court of public opinion to just go like,
so he can still go and do a couple more $1 million movies to get his bank balance up for retirement.
Well, I mean, he should just be able to make some movies, right? Like that's
he will be. He will be straight back on the wagon, I think, because he's been cleared. People will come flocking back to him because they know that public opinion has completely shifted polarity.
Right.
And
but he won't ever be able to be. The point is, he won't ever be able to be a Jedi because he won't work for Disney again. So,
well, Huawei also suggested that Amber Heard would make a great Sith. So, there's potential there.
If they were going to do anything, wild, they should Mace Windu, Samuel L. Jackson, one-armed Mace Windu, like all scarred up from the fall. Come on. That would be tits. I still hold that it should have been Mace Windu who came to the rescue
at the end of Mando.
At the end of Mando, yeah.
I think that
because it would have been the piece de resistance if Luke was being a creep meditating on a planet. Mace Windu came and saved them and brought them to Luke. You know, I understand Ahsoka Tano played that part of bringing them to Luke or whatever, but I think it would have just been, I think it would have made more sense had you Mace Windu come.
I reckon
do
that's
some
saving him up.
murdering, do some hardcore slashing and banging.
I think they're saving. They're definitely, in my mind, saving Mace Windu up for his own show, but they're also going to make it ages ago so that they don't have to use the appalling acting talents of Samuel L. Jackson. They can use someone new to be Mace Windu.
Right, they just do the young Mace Windu.
Yeah, something like that I think will happen, because I know everyone loves Samuel L. Jackson and he's so good in certain stuff, but he's not a bloody good actor. He's always the same dude. And that didn't pay well for him as Mace Windu, because he had to be a different character. He had to actually act. And his acting was quite shit in that episode 2 and 3.
Yeah. Samuel L. Jackson plays Samuel L. Jackson. That's
exactly
what he does. You know, and if you cast him in a role where he's not playing Samuel L. Jackson, it doesn't work. It doesn't work that
That's
well.
why those bloody gambling ads are so successful.
Which gambling ads? What's?
Oh, he does one of the big gambling company. Maybe you don't get his ads up there.
No.
But yeah, they don't do it anymore. But yeah, he was
Mm-hmm.
one of the big, stupid, online, evil gambling companies used him for a series of advertising for about 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah, it was nonsense. But, you know, that's about the caliber of his acting, I think, is, go and do some high-paid advertising work, unless you just have a character that's perfectly suited to Samuel L. Jackson. And I think the only reason he was cast in Star Wars because he was, he was pretty hot at the time.
Right.
He was the big thing in the early 2000s, but unfortunately, the dude cannot act. Come at me, Samuel L. Jackson.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I still think it would have been badass if a fucked up Mace Windu came in, trashed everything, and then you could have done the Luke reveal. You know?
Yeah, I'm a big proponent for Mace Windu coming back, but I don't ever want to see him played by Samuel L. Jackson ever again.
See, because you got to think like here's my thought: is that so like Ahsoka is going to be a
G'day, George.
So like the individual Ahsoka story is going to be fairly difficult to sell to non-Star Wars fans, right? I mean, relative terms, you go like, oh, there's like I don't know, it's like she's like a Jedi or something. She's got a weird head thing, but like average people don't know what the hell she is. They don't know what's going on there. They're not really that intrigued, but they are making a series of that, and I think it would have behooved them to make Ahsoka a success if the Luke reveal would have been built into that series, right? So that when you release that is when you came in contact with Luke, because that would have been like, that's going to hit every single social media thing out there. It's going to create a huge buzz around that instead of doing it in The Mandalorian. That, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think
Like,
I get a feeling that that's where the Ahsoka story will start, is with Luke involvement, but obviously more of it is around that Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi era, where we get Ezra and Thrawn involved as well. I think they're going to be big parts of that Ahsoka story.
It's kind of my thing, is that like you have all these characters that have been weaved into the Mandalorian, which is ultimately fine, like okay, but if you wanted to do all these other storylines and you wanted to get hype around them, the Mandalorian already had tons of hype, right? Like Baby Yoda was enough hype to get people to be following the Mandalorian thing, the Mandalorian episodes, right? And you could have easily dropped some bits later on in later episodes. And I feel like they really blew their wad with Luke way too early because, you know, there's definitely recognition around Obi-Wan Kenobi, right? But not that much to the average person, right? Like the average person remembers that he was at the beginning of episode 4, right? So there's a name recognition there, sure, but like I don't know how much people are fired up for this series. Is kind of like a, I don't know. I mean, I just, that's my thing is that like if you want to weave in the big names, you don't want to just blow them all while you already have a lot of eyes on the product that you're making, which is the Mandalorian. Like, and I'm trying to think of some of the other characters around the Mandalorian. Now, one of them was a psycho on social media, so she got written out, and then like who else?
Keep talking.
There's because I'm trying to remember all the characters from the Mandalorian. I'm so tired today, but there's a lot of characters around the Mandalorian that are in the Mandalorian sort of universe space that you could expand on, and not have to include Luke into that specific storyline. And it also would make more sense that it would also make more sense in my mind that if you had waited to expose the Luke character to only other Jedi that were like in hiding, essentially, from the Jedi Order getting destroyed, it would also leave a sort of kernel of mystery in your mind that some of the other Jedi may or may not have survived. So you would never really know. So does that make sense? So the Mandalorian has a whole universe around him that doesn't really need Luke, right? It doesn't really, you don't really need Luke to tell the Mandalorian story. And there's a bunch of people, a bunch of characters around the Mandalorian that already make it intriguing, to the point where they made the book of Boba Fett, who was just a later introduced character in the Mandalorian story, able to put a spinoff out there. But I feel like if you had weaved in the Luke reveal to later, for like the Ahsoka series that's coming out, and that kind of stuff, you could have left the sort of mystery around the people watching about whether or not some of the Jedi survived, and they're all like, have some of them are in hiding, right? Because you never really knew if or when a Jedi might pop up that has just been hiding for this whole time. Which I think if you're writing for the long term, that's like such a better way to go about it, because then it keeps people captivated to not ever really knowing. That's why my whole idea with the Mace Windu saving them on the ship would have been a better option, because you could have had him come just for that ending. It wouldn't have, you wouldn't have needed Samuel L. Jackson for a ton of acting or a ton of stuff. You could have just had him swoop in, save him. He is the age that he is because he would be all wounded and beat up. It wouldn't matter. You wouldn't need to like down age him or do any of that kind of stuff, right? You could just make him look all screwed up, like just all beat up and haggard and whatnot, but he's still like rough and tough enough to like show up when he knows it's important, right? To save one of the younglings that he had contact with before, because that's the whole storyline, is that Baby Yoda was at the temple or whatever. So that's why I was like, you should have had Mace show up, because it would leave that intrigue to being like, oh, maybe that guy survived. Maybe, you could always be having that thought of like, oh, I don't know. At any point in time, somebody could have been hiding, and could show up and save the day or sacrifice themselves like Obi-Wan Kenobi did, like waiting around on Tatooine for 20 years until he went up to the Death Star and then just turned into a ghost like right away. Like that could happen. You could have done that later. Oh my God, we've got trolls. Naked HD fun. Hot.
Hey, they'll satisfy your wishes online.
Satisfy your wishes. All right, I do have to go to bed though. I gotta go put the chickens away. So I'll talk to you later.
Rightio. Don't forget to watch Stranger Things. Let's talk about that as well next week.
You got it. Hey, think about my theory there. Just
Which
consider
one?
it. Don't worry about it. Bye.
I feel that if he explained his theory to me, I would have been talking for. He would have been talking for another 17 minutes. I already kept him 26 minutes longer than he needed to be or wanted to be. Oh, look out. Let's do this.
Oh, does that? Hang on.
That was amazing timing.
Mm.
It's like you popped up backstage just as Joel was leaving, and I had no material that I could do solo. So, what great, amazing timing that was.
I was looking at something else and you weren't on the screen. But look, I found you.
No spoilers, Aquaballs. Still haven't finished the first 7 episodes yet. I think I've got 2 to go. Did you start?
When does the second bit come out?
I don't know. You seemed more informed on it when I was talking to you yesterday about it.
I only knew that it was due out on the 27th, I think, and that that it said it was going in 2 parts.
Have you got?
Seems to be the going thing, not
Yeah,
to
well, you
release
don't.
the whole season in one go.
I think it's a little bit ridiculous to expect people to binge 15 episodes at once and then forget half the season. So, yeah, I think it's quite sensible. Lisa, have you tried the injecting fluids under the skin between the cat's shoulders? I've heard that's a good way to combat dehydration in a cat. You've got to inject some saline or something into their shoulders, isn't that right? You know cats. You've had cats. Is that how it goes?
I only know from like investigating about when my cat got snake bit, and they were just saying there's no point trying to give them water orally if it's actually gonna help and they're seriously dehydrated, that you need to inject it. And you can go to the vet and they'll give you like the kit that you can use to do it with, but I haven't done it. And my cat died anyway before.
Yeah, I wonder what the ratio of cat deaths by snake bite is compared between Australia and the US. Might be the only thing saving our native wildlife from feral cats is good snake bites.
Maybe. I'd say that they're not getting bitten enough because there's a lot of feral cats.
Yeah, sorry for cat lovers out there, but we have over 3. Do they say 3 million or 3 billion cats, feral cats in this
So a lot
country,
of feral
destroying our wildlife? And yeah, just hunters going out and shooting them is not enough because they're bloody crafty creatures. They know how to disappear into the brush without being noticed,
And they're good at making babies.
and very good at making babies.
Yeah.
And at a young age too.
Yeah.
How's your cardamom pod?
Yeah, I've like mostly eaten it all. And now I've got the post-eating sedation.
The itis.
Yeah, I need to have a sleep after I eat, actually. These days.
Yeah, we had some major mouse plagues at the start of summer 6 months ago, Alyssa. That is an interesting point, that with all of our feral cats, why weren't the feral cats sorting it out? But unfortunately, the population of the mouse plague was, probably 100-fold of what the feral cats are, because as good as cats are at reproduction, rodents are a little bit better at it.
And I think that potentially where the rodent infestations were are not necessarily the largest populations of feral cats either. Because there was it was fairly localized, I guess. Like it
Mouse
wasn't
plague.
it wasn't like everywhere. Just some places it was really bad.
I think the floods probably sorted most of the rodent plague out than cats could have. But, what can you expect on such a massive island continent as ours, that we're going to have issues with certain animals and whatnot? Oh, Wongaree's back. Yeah, can only still see his head. He went all weird before. He had a feed at the seed tray and then turned around and just stood there looking out the archway for like a minute before he moved. Maybe it was him sitting there going, I need some more seed. Bring me some more seed. No, he's still getting plenty. I've often wondered, though, why do pigeons and chooks have pink legs? Seems a silly colour for flesh or skin or legs. I was thinking that when I walked down the street in Mullumbimby yesterday, and I've had to walk past 2 or 3 pigeons, and they all had almost fluorescent pink legs. And it's like, that's a stupid colour to have in nature. Such a funky looking critter. Absolutely, BJ. Yeah. Cats are killing all of our big snakes and lizards that eat rodents. Yeah, we need to get more big goannas out there to take on the cats.
I don't think that they will. Goannas tend to be much more kind of opportunistic and do I don't think they're going to do cat battle.
Cat what?
Battle?
Oh, battle. Yeah, well, opportunity as well. I'm sure goannas stumble across many options for food without risking a battle with a cat,
Mm.
especially if they've had one before and they've learnt their lesson. Cats are freaking brutal. Man, why do you got to spill so much? Every bloody peck of the seed tray, all this seed goes outside the tray. Just pick one up at a time and eat the fucking thing. He, he must have been listening to me because he started picking up the ones off the concrete instead of out of the tray. Yeah, that's the way. Good boy. I tend to agree, BJ. But yeah, humans have become so inured to the pleasures that cats bring that it's very difficult to educate people on the negative effects of cats. They put their fingers in their ears and go, no, 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 no.
I'm just amazed by how many people there are out there with cats who are just like, yeah, but my cat doesn't. My cat doesn't go and murder. It's a sweet, cuddly, lovable creature who's definitely not murderous at all.
Put a bloody GoPro on your cat's collar for a day and see what you find out.
Mm.
Yeah, those silly people in denial about what their cats are capable of need a good bloody stern talking to.
And not only that, like I know lots of people with cats who, have no problems not desexing their cats and just letting them run free outside everywhere.
Yeah. What's it called? Responsible pet ownership. Need to. It's all over the place in aquarium keeping, and it's becoming rife in dogs and stuff as well after the pandemic, where people were being irresponsible dog buyers. But yeah, cats are a whole different kettle of fish.
I'm sorry. I'm just don't feel very well.
Got your printer set up yet?
No.
Mm-hmm. Still in the back of the car, isn't it?
I was going to get Teo to help me to get it out when he gets home.
Yeah, it's got a bit of weight, isn't it? I wouldn't be surprised if it's got a block of concrete in that box.
I would not like to drop it.
I would not like you to drop it either.
But yeah, I won't be able to do anything with it until I get paper.
That's called
Anyway.
Motivation.
Okay. I already did order some paper, but I didn't order the one because I thought I would try out with the other one first and see if it's good. It sounds good. It sounds like it has all the right qualities, and they did one of their things in describing
You weren't supposed to stop talking just because I did that.
Okay. But yeah, was saying about it being being good quality. I don't know. I can't remember. I don't feel well.
I'm sure there'll be some kind of trial and error process till you work out which paper is best to do your prints on.
Yeah, well, so I'm not buying really expensive, like $100 paper to start with for the first go. But the other one, like, in theory, should be as good, and whether in practice it will be, I don't know.
Time will tell. Turkey soda, Chewy. My standard, normal, everyday drink. Wild turkey with soda water. Bloody lovely. Unfortunately, because it's so lovely, I tend to drink quite a few of them at a time.
Let's
But, you know,
be
that's my
fair.
thing. Let's be fair.
Yeah, you probably might drink as many even if it wasn't lovely, you know.
No. If it wasn't lovely, I'd find something else to drink.
Yeah, but you drink red wine, so that's...
I haven't drunk red wine for a long time. I've drunk port more recently than red wine.
Did
Port's
you?
nice. Port's really nice. I like that. A nice port. Yeah, Alyssa. That's fair enough, I suppose, at that age. But, you know, no doubt in its youth it probably murdered quite a few things. No teeth and has vertigo. A cat with vertigo. That's a shame for a creature that's so dependent on its ability to balance. But yeah, Alyssa, you definitely sound like a responsible cat owner. But there's many more people out there that are certainly not to be considered responsible cat owners. Actually, stuff you should know. Did what was there one on the other day? I don't know if it was just about. Yeah, it was. It was just about feral cats. That was a pretty good podcast. Worth a listen. But yeah, I would imagine that podcast, even though Josh and Chuck did their very best to tell people that they weren't trying to offend cat owners and stuff, I'm sure there would have been plenty of listeners that were offended by the things that they were saying. Yeah, my mum gets vertigo, but she's got drugs for it. Stemadol or something. You could probably give that to your cat.
Demetil.
Demetil, is it?
So they gave me after we went to Melbourne and I was busy all the time. But it didn't really help.
Yeah, I think it was quite funny because originally when Mum was prescribed that for her vertigo, it was a injectable, and yeah, when I had to get the ambulance to come here because I didn't have the equipment to inject it, but then the ambos taught me how to inject the stuff into her, and she said I did a perfectly fine injection, but after that she wanted tablets instead. So I'm not 100% certain if I did a good injection or not.
I mean, it's not that fun having injections anymore.
I don't mind an injection. I quite like them, especially dental ones. But yeah, generally most injections for mine, have a worse after effect than the needle itself. I'm certainly a big fan of dental injections because whenever I've had local anesthetic injected into my mouth by a dentist, it's because I'm in terrible pain with a shit tooth or something. And as soon as that anesthetic goes in, it's like, it's gone. The pain is gone. And it's like you don't even need painkillers after your tooth's been removed or whatever because it's so much less pain than what it was causing you initially. All right, Scungey's yawning, so we should probably end this and go away.
I'm sorry, I did say I will be boring.
You're always boring, but still, the people love it.
Sure. I think I felt even more boring today than other days of my life.
There's certainly, different grades of boring when you're in this stream.
Yeah, well, sometimes we've had stream fun. But yeah, I just am like, bleh. I haven't come fully back from being sick.
And by being sick, ladies and gentlemen, she means she had the COVID for 2 weeks or so. I fucking hope you're clear of it now. I mean, I kissed you today, even if my mouth smelled bad.
Yeah, well, the doctor said yes, because the issue is they say 7 days after after you test positive, as long as you don't have symptoms. But
Yeah,
then
it's a lot harder to share it if you don't have the symptoms.
Yeah, and he was explaining to me that, because a lot of my regular symptoms are the same and are likely to be exacerbated. So, like if I have a cold, I get better from the cold. I still feel crappy for a couple of weeks anyway.
Because you've had COVID?
No, just any cold, any sickness. Like when I was a healthy person, I would get a sickness and I would go for the few days and then I get better. And now it's like the sickness is kind of over, but I'm still flat. Like,
yeah, I think lots of people say that with COVID is that they're not testing positive for it. They don't have it anymore, but they still feel ill because they just can't function in their normal processes and stuff because it's still waging havoc on their body.
And like I had like the first, like it hit me, and then I felt like maybe I was feeling a little bit better, and then a whole bunch of other symptoms then came like a week later. But yeah.
That's a perfect advertising for healthy living, people. Live healthy, eat well, and you probably won't get sick, even though Sarah lives very healthily and eats well and stuff.
I'm pretty like vigilant about being healthy. Frustratingly enough, but I reckon if I wasn't, I'd be even sicker.
I wouldn't be surprised if I went and did one of those antibodies tests. I wouldn't be surprised if I found out that I had it at some stage.
But wouldn't you have antibodies from having your vaccination anyway?
Ah, yeah, that's a good point. The test would be flawed, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'll never know. It'll be a mystery for the rest of my lives.
All of them.
All 9 of them.
But it's fun too because like all my kids had it as well, and like one of them only was like really sick for like 1 day, and another one was sick for 2 weeks.
That's the kind
And
of
the other
random
one,
you
4
get with it,
days
isn't it?
probably. Apparently.
Even if you've got the same genes, it's going to affect you somewhat differently.
Although I will say that those children have very different, very different immune systems. Even though they were raised the same way, and as you said, same genes, they're, yeah. My middle boy just has always had really strong immune system, and it often doesn't catch things or doesn't get us sick.
Well, I suppose when you combine the genetics of two different people, it's like a roll of the dice, really, isn't it? So you never know what you're going to get. So, yeah, it's completely understandable that one of your kids might be reacting completely different to another.
Yeah. And that one has to be gluten intolerant. It's so frustrating.
Yeah, that's probably worse than having to put up with 2 weeks of COVID. Oh, no, I've got to go and buy different bread and different pasta and different stuff.
I'm just being like careful all the time, and he just feels like he's missing out all the time. And everything gluten-free is like 50 times more expensive.
But yeah, even though that's probably not the part that weighs heaviest on the kid's mind, it's just the kid thinking, I have to do all this different stuff to the other kids. Woe is me, etc.
Yeah. Oops. It's like it's a piece of plastic with a little hole in it for hanging on the shelf on a little rack, and a pick, one of those stubby ones, and I was stretching the hole, and I was trying to get it so that it would sit nicely around like a little outfit on the pick, but I broke it.
It's good to have goals.
Yeah. I got him, see. Always
All right,
chasing
well,
him.
let's do this. Let's call it quits. We will keep everyone apprised of Sarah's new website when it comes out. Fingers crossed it'll be within the week.
Within two weeks.
Yeah, I'm aiming high. I'm shooting for the stars, as it were.
There's just a lot to do on it, especially when it's just me trying to do it, because I find it hard making decisions and stuff. So
Sarah's biggest issue is with making the right words for a website. Maybe what we should do is form a committee of sensible humans that we can send a draft to and get some opinions of people of which words should and shouldn't be used. What do you reckon about that?
they're asking me,
Yeah.
I think that will be,
G'day, Aquaman.
quite dull for everybody. I used to have the benefit. I had a sister who was a really good writer, and I always used to just send her everything I wrote to read over, all my uni work. I'd be like, and it would always be the last minute because I do everything at the last minute. So I'm like, have to submit it in 10 minutes, quickly email it to her and get her to
G'day, Vince.
read
How
it
are you,
over,
mate?
proofread for me, tell me how it's going.
Well, Alyssa Bentley has just put in the chat that she used to write copy for websites. So, what you need to do is send me all your text and I'll send it on to Alyssa, unless you guys are contacted.
And she can do it just for fun.
Wish you can at least, put some red lines. Don't put this word, use this word instead, that kind of stuff. It's always good, I think, to get an outsider's opinion on stuff that you're struggling with. So why not?
It is good. And it makes a real difference too. Like, I don't know, for me, I was always a very confident writer, but I'm just not anymore. But just to be able to put it out and know you can just put it out and just hand it to somebody where it's not its final destination and can get it, get a little bit of feedback. I found that made me procrastinate a lot less than the fear of like doing it and trying to put it out there and then it's out there.
Well, let's do that then. Since Alyssa's put her hand up. That was clearly Alyssa putting her hand up, isn't it? Saying, send it to me, I'll proofread it and offer suggestions. I hope I didn't read that the wrong way, Alyssa, but that's what it sounded like to me.
I had wanted to ask you, but this probably isn't the place where I should wait till everyone doesn't have to listen about it.
No, go on.
About the
We got to try and push to 3.5 hours now. We're this close.
Just that the pinky color with the black and white. Is it like? What do you make of it?
To which are you referring to?
Did you look at the little video of the website that I sent to you?
Ah, right. Yeah, I thought it was okay. I thought it was fine. It was exactly like you said, that it was you needed something there as a contrast to the just black and white.
Yeah, because I was going for just black and white, but it becomes very, it's a little bit dull, and there are some places where you need more than two levels, and once you're just going black, white, and grey.
Well, that'll be my
so
first.
I added that colour in.
Was it on the? It was on the computer-based one, or the mobile-based one had more pink, or did they both have the same?
They're kind of the same, but you'll probably see more on the computer one.
On the computer one.
Yeah, I think so.
Right. Well, I'm going to take it upon myself. I'm going to forward that off to Alyssa Bentley and get her input. I'm not even going to ask permission from you or Alyssa.
That's nice of you.
So, yeah, if you could, now that I've sent that file to Alyssa, repeat the instruction or the question. Is it too much pink, or is pink the right color or something? Was that what it was?
Yeah, I guess like if the pink is work, I kind of like it, but do I want to commit to that color with myself? I don't know.
I mean, what's your options? Orange, blue, indigo.
Yeah, no, I can't really think of any. I don't want it to be vibrant. I wanted it to be kind of muted, since most of the work is black and white.
There we go. Alyssa says she'll proofread your stuff, no worries.
Aww. That's very lovely, but also I'll probably just feel too guilty to follow through, but I will appreciate it with my whole heart.
What's your email that you're using? Is it scungeprincess@gmail.com or Hotmail?
I have no Gmails.
Yeah, I always make that mistake, don't I?
But well, yeah, I've been using the Sponge Princess for. I'm trying to keep it really clean and use it for like all just the stuff related to the art stuff. Because my other one has got, like, say at present, 1,852 unread emails in it.
I think I still beat you.
I did go through and, like, it was so full that I couldn't receive any more emails. And I had to go through and clean it out. And so I cleaned out, like, thousands, I think.
Yeah, I think the
And
worst.
that's only
email,
since then I've built up.
I think the last time I went in to clean up one of my Gmails, there was over 10,000 that I had to go in and clean up, and that was probably took me 2 hours of going through and clicking pages and pages and pages of emails at a time to delete before I gave up. So there's still thousands sitting there waiting.
I spent a long time, but like my email has a thing where it's called sweep. And so you can just say everything from this email address delete, and it still took me hours.
Wow, that's pretty handy. I'd like that one.
It's really good. And what you can do is you can say everything from this email address. So you can say keep it for 1 week and then delete it. So everything that comes in from that email address will only stay. So if it's something like, you know, you might have signed up for some website because you bought something on there and they send you advertising emails or whatever, you can do that just in case there is something that you're like, oh, yeah. But otherwise, they're just getting deleted out of the background.
So maybe I get Alyssa to send me her email address and you can send her your bodies of text and get a third party to look over your text instead of just us two. Would it be a weird thing if I ask a question and get an answer? Come on, BJ. You're not immune to asking questions. You're not banned from asking questions. Ask us a question and we'll try and give you an answer. Vince says you might consider a new account, which highlights the reason for the account, i.e. Scunge Princess art at some place.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what the Scunge Princess one is to my other one, though. Scunge Princess has no unread emails in it.
Yeah, it's a normal email that's full of advertising and junk mail and spam and all that.
I've had that email address since I was in high school. So
that's I find that so funny.
Having the same email address for years?
No, just having an email address in high school, because when I was in high school, email wasn't a thing. It didn't exist. I think I was, maybe 2 years out of high school living in Sydney before I had an email address. And, you know, downloading pictures of naked ladies on the computer that took 5 minutes to fill in as you went down. You can't masturbate to that. Oh, tedious.
You set it up beforehand, then you go away and do something else. Come back.
Well, I don't even think back in the days, because of bandwidths that dial-up internet offered, I don't even think you could do multiple tabs open.
Yep, here.
Ah, nice one, Alyssa. That's a win.
Hi.
Why am I yelling at you, BJ? Was that your question? Will I yell at you? Yes, I'll yell at you! Oh, I've got to go and apparently push a button on a malfunctioning device inside.
I'm gonna pet my shadow because that's all you look like. Hey? That's all you look like. Shadow dog. I'm not good to be here on my own. I just sit here awkwardly. Fits like so perfectly.
Dad's got some silly little clock on the dining table, and he's got some stupid alarm set somehow. He's just been tinkering with it, but the alarm goes off and it starts going beep, 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 and then after about 20 seconds it goes beep, 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 and then it starts going beep, 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 and then it just starts going beep, 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 beep. Like it really doesn't want you to sleep in, this alarm. But for some reason he's got it set for about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, probably because he wants to wake up from his afternoon nap. But you know, go and put it beside your bed. Don't leave it on the dining table.
Yeah, but then it's too easy to just turn it off and fall back to sleep.
Yeah, true. He's got to get up and walk all that way with his unwalking legs.
I love my alarm.
You what?
I love my alarm that sings bird noises.
Yeah, as
Because
much as
it just creeps in slowly. And you just wake up like a little bit more gently. You know?
yeah. Do you want to tell your Scunge Princess email? Is it a Hotmail one?
Yeah, it's just scongeprincess@hotmail.com.
Yeah, so I think she's got that covered, Vince, with respect to a separate, simple email account that allows general access.
I did see on the website thing, one of the things, because you can get email addresses that are like, you know, so I could have one that was like sarah@scongeprincess.com or something like that, but you know.
That'd be all inclusive as well, wouldn't they? So
yeah, I think that was like on the list of things that you could have on there.
So, you know, why not take one of those?
It's just because I want to
You want everything centralized.
yeah, I just want to stay on top of it and just like,
Yeah.
and I'm
sense.
liking having that email, you know, because it pretty much, it's like I get like receipts for framing or art supplies sent to it, and I get emails from my website. It's the one I've given.
Well, I think when I had a website for my old studio in Brisbane, and it certainly came with a you know, the ability to create email addresses at that website as well. But yeah, I never certainly took up on using those email addresses because I already had reasonably well enough established email addresses, if that makes sense. But I didn't need to go and create some other one that was just going to make more work for me to go and check my emails and stuff.
Well, I used to get scared that like I could lose it, you know, because say with the website, if I get that email address and then if for whatever reason down the track I change the website or I change things, then potentially I lose that address. Whereas doing one through a separate email server, like dedicated, then it doesn't matter. you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you don't know for sure that you're going to be tied to that same website provider for eons and eons and eons. So yeah, you're better
I'm
off
committing
using
to a
third-party
year
email.
with them, you know, 12 months.
I've forwarded you an email from Alyssa Bentley that should include her email address and her lovely kind words as well. Actually, I'd forwarded it before I read the whole email, so that's quite humorous, Alyssa. Yeah, what else are you going to do? As if you want to do that stuff. BJ, are you here? BJ seems lost in a fog or something. BJ, I am still streaming. We are still live. Myself and Scunge Princess. Maybe your internet might be fritzing out, BJ.
Maybe. Mine was. It was making all the sounds just like, you know, sound and a gap, like evenly spaced. So it would just be dip, 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 dip.
I thought that was your headphones, though, not your internet.
Oh, yeah, but then that died straight after.
Ah, right. Coinky dink, I think not. So, yeah, I strongly recommend that you forward your blocks of text to Alyssa and get some external input from just you and me.
I appreciate that, but I'll probably try and make something more than that mess that I sent to you the other day. Refine it a bit more. Yeah.
Before you send it to her.
Yeah. Because that's just like, it's too all over the place. That was just like my streams of getting everything out and not blocking myself.
Yeah, I definitely would advise that, yeah, send it on to Alyssa, because separate humans and whatnot, different mindsets, different, you know, she's not embroiled in all of the everything that you're going through to make your art. What's that noise?
Yeah, well, it's hard. That's one of the things for me, is that when I write all the stuff, I just feel like a dick. What I want to say is, here's some shit I drew.
It'd be fantastic if you could just go with that and sell 1 billion art pieces. That'd be mint.
Like, I don't mind sometimes, if in the right sort of like frame of mind and with people, like I just can discuss all of the ideas and stuff behind it. But writing the artist statements and bios and things like that, and even descriptions of them to list them for sale, I just feel so dickish.
I really like that statement, Alyssa. I think that's gold, and that can be applied to so many aspects of human life, that everyone wants to clean the house before the house cleaner gets there. That's a beautiful statement. That should go on a shirt or something. But yeah, who has time to read that while they're walking past someone in the supermarket? It may lose its impact on a t-shirt. Yeah, Huawei adds another perfect example. It's like brushing your teeth really good before going to the dentist. They're both the same mindset.
But you've got to do that. Otherwise, dentist gets really cross with you.
Especially if your mouth smells as bad as mine does. To be fair, you know I've got 1,000 rotting teeth in my mouth, so I know my mouth smells. But, you know.
Different amounts at different times, you know. Oh my God, that's something I'm really grateful to be past. One of the COVID symptoms I had was like an epically dry mouth. for days and nights. One night I woke up like, I just know it was more than 20 times. Was it 30? I don't know. I was just constantly waking up with it. It's horrible. But you may have noticed that I've acquired some children.
Right, let's close it down. I mean, I've fucking been trying for about 20 minutes to shut it down so I can go and do some things before I lose all sunlight.
Yeah.
But somehow
Sorry.
you just keep me talking, don't you?
It's just because I'm so like riveting and exciting. You just can't possibly tear yourself away.
All right, then. Go and play with the kids. I'm going to go and play with those other things and do that and then do that and then do that. Oh.
Sounds good.
All right, everyone. I do love yous all, Pam. I do. I hope you're not being sarcastic. Oh, g'day, Gaffer. Your timing's impeccable. Just as we're walking out the door, Gaffer turns up. That's bored old fart for everyone who's
They're here.
not been
Oh,
around for a while.
excellent news.
I'm trying to say goodbye here. Can you stop shouting at your dog? For once, you decide to talk loud, and it's while I'm trying to talk. Look at Huawei doing the lingo. You're all over it, Huawei. I love it. I love it. What are you...
Are you okay?
One of the finches is in here somewhere. I just heard it, and it's in a weird spot. I'll go and find it. All right, yeah. I'm a perpetual procrastinator, Gaffer. Perpetual. I'm procrastinating everything.
No,
I've got a I'm
I
talking
bet
about
you.
it earlier that I've got a clothesline that I bought 6 months ago that still needs installing just because I have to mix up some concrete or some nonsense and pour some rocks into the bottom of the hole. Oh, it's so terrible that I've procrastinated it every day of my life for the last 6 months. All right, let's go then. Quick. We've got to get out of here quick somehow. How do I get out of here quick? I'll just say goodbye, everyone. Thanks for coming. Thanks, GRB and S, I think, and Pam. I think were also slinging links earlier. Thanks, mods. I should just probably say thanks, mods, even though they aren't here. And let you go and say hi to those kids. And, you know, everyone else in the chat as well. Go and say hi to your kids. Tell them you love them. Give them a squeeze. Give them a gentle tap on the back of the head to prove that they're yours. And, you know, look after yourselves and each other. And
That's really bright.
it's a considerable difference, at least.
I was much happier in the dark. It's all right.
Forced upon you. All right, everyone.
Leave it. No, it's good to have them on because it is getting dark. Turn the lounge room on.
Take care, everyone, and we'll see you when we're looking at yous.